StreamYard?
Yeah, you can put the you upload it in there in your hold on. I can't see it on my end, but you can upload it on the right side and it's got like all the options for you and have all your stuff. And then
Mm-hmm.
it'll you can loop it, you can have it loop like how, while we talking, you can't just have it looping and people will be like waiting it to do like a countdown.
Yeah, I'm about to get real fancy, but I'm gonna reach out to your boy though, cause I do want to do my podcast out there. So I'm like, why am I about to buy all this stuff and I can just pay him? And he edit
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah, he'll edit it for you too.
Oh, better.
It can get costly, but like the self-serve room, if you're not having like no guests or nothing, I'm just using the self-serve room and go in there and knock out content and
Yeah,
just
I'm
hit
gonna do that too.
yo.
I'm gonna do that, and then the ones I had guests on, like I'm gonna have you on there and some other folks, like just people in Detroit doing dope shit.
Yeah. The self-serve room, you can have you and a guest though in there. It's just if you have more than one guest, you're gonna want to do the actual room we were seeing where you can have the multiple cameras.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Let me put this across the bottom. All right, well we are live. We be forget who we just be talking.
Right.
What up, though, y'all? Happy Wednesday to y'all. Y'all see my new name, Asia D, the HBCU Celebration Bowl champ.
Celebrate. What that mean? You the bowl champ?
Yeah, our school won the Celebration Bowl, so that's like the Black College Mecca game.
Oh, okay.
So we won for the first time in history. So, cause this was our third time going, and we won in December. So, address me as that all year.
Okay. I thought they were just. I thought you was the queen of celebrating your school or something, and they had to give you the crown.
That works too. But today, HBCU Celebration Bowl champ.
That's dope.
So, Red, tell people who you are. Introduce yourself.
Reginald Perryman, real estate broker and investor. Detroit native, Detroit born, Detroit raised. Well, Highland Park actually, but it's all the
HP,
same. Yep.
all the same. At least
Yep.
you ain't
And
say
don't.
like Saginaw or nothing.
Yep. And I'm defending Detroit because Atlantic trying to say they started wearing Cartiers before us.
Did you see? They talking about 20 years ago. I was like, y'all know 30, 40 years ago, Trump's there, right? They've been wearing buffs since like late 80s. Well, first it was the Woods, then the
Yeah,
Wires, and then
the
whenever the buff
wires.
came out.
Yeah, and the comment, the one guy in the comment was like, Detroit call them bus, we call them yay. So I'm like, no,
No,
buffs.
that's two different things.
Yeah, I'm like buffs is just one design with the buffalo on it, with the buffalo us, but that's it's still Cartiers. We've been wearing them since the '80s.
Yeah, like do your research, baby. Earl Flynn and all them.
Yeah, so
Mm.
but yeah, Detroit.
Everybody knows Detroit. Like you got to come to Detroit to get your bus done right. Like I remember
Yep.
Wall Street Trapper when he first got his woods, he DM'd me. He like, how they look? I was like, why they clear? You know, cause we 10 hours out, you know,
Oh
transition,
yeah,
everything. He like, for real. So I sent them a video. I was like, you see how my glasses go dark once I step outside?
yep. And,
Yours are supposed to do
and
that too.
yeah, and everybody from what you call it, probably somebody from Detroit probably put somebody in Atlanta on them. You know, they wasn't people wasn't wearing them as street fashion. If you had some Cartier glasses, you just had a little bit of money and brought some glasses and you liked that style. But Detroit was wearing them. It was like even if you ain't have prescription glasses, you was wearing some yays.
Them and them the Prada loafers that they done brought back out that they was
Hmm.
wearing. I was like in high school and the whole Pelly Pill, how all that's coming back out.
Yeah,
Detroit people was wearing them going to the grocery store or shoveling snow.
right. You
You know
had
how
to
many
put them
subs
on
I
to
done
get them look
hired
with
and they
them.
in the house with they yays on working?
Right.
Like, oh, this is my work pair. I'm like, oh, okay.
It's it's actually an insult to everybody that got jacked for their yays, because you couldn't even wear them down the Hart Plaza. You know what I'm saying? People will run up from behind you and snatch them boys off.
Shoot, Northland, like if they was leaning like this, they got snatched to the left, and then the
Yup,
opposite got snatched to the right. Like, come on. Like, we
yup,
definitely started that. Try somebody else. Now, Detroit is known for a lot of fashion that y'all really be taking that y'all don't want to admit, but I
right.
digress.
A lot of poor paychecks paid for some yays. So
Thanks. That is a fact. All right, y'all. So today we doing Confessions of a Landlord. This is our third episode.
Oh yeah.
And we gotta talk and see, I guess, what day we gonna do it. I guess to make it consistent until the summer come and everybody start getting busy.
Yeah, we'll pick a regular date so people will know what to look for.
Yep. And
It's
then
some wild landlord tenant stories out there.
listen, it's a lot. Cause I subscribe to a couple of them now. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, when you see how the judges react, you could tell like some judges be in favor of the landlord though, or they just be about whatever the paperwork is.
I think we gotta start watching some of the Detroit ones too, in case we see somebody we know. I'm gonna fall out.
I've seen a couple people.
Oh, it's one on here. I don't know how long this one is. This is over here on my right. This dude from Detroit. The dark skinned judge. I forgot his name, but
Oh yeah. My wife love him. She
is that,
um she always watching his court cases. I think he in Washington County.
no, I think this dude 36 district because I done seen him before. We can pull it up next. It's only like 15 minutes. I think he's 36 district. I don't know, but it say entitled rent assisted tenant holds hostage apartment.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
somebody said make sure y'all get Poncio here. Oh, for sure. We definitely need
Oh
the attorney
definitely.
side of this. I gotta call him too because he had to go to court about some contractor stuff. Not him suing the person, like one of his clients, another New Yorker. Don't listen. And they in so many words, they gave somebody $100,000, and that was that.
No.
I'm like, well,
And that person went and brought some yays with him. Right?
that's some Prada loafers.
Yeah, so we know.
Well, no, he an older gentleman, so he probably bought him some gators and a dog with the feather.
Yeah, that's true. He probably brought his nephew some yays.
He bought somebody. He bought his girl some wires.
Right.
All right, y'all. So this is court nerves. We watching judge laughs at a woman threatening squatter rights, then kicks her out. Now we ain't never seen this, so it popped up in my news feed. So we got to watch.
And that is where my address is. I'm not a squatter. I have been there for almost a year. I do have a
squatters' rights, ma'am. Versus Jabron Haywood, case number 25C0328.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. David Fantera on behalf of the plaintiff.
Is Jabron Haywood present?
Jabron Haywood's in jail.
Okay.
So can I give you a little bit of a background? There was a woman who signed in who actually I was put into the breakout room with, and I thought she was coming back to address the court. She claims to be...
One second, please. You said she's in the waiting room?
Yes.
All right. Miss Molly Butterly?
Yep. How are you?
So about Mr.
Fantera. Mr. Fantera, 1 second, please. Miss Molly Butterly, you're the caretaker?
Correct.
All right.
First of all, let me say I dispute that because we actually sued Mr. Haywood twice last year. He came to court once by Zoom with the magistrate, and it was a gentleman. And the second time he came to court, Mr. Haywood, you may remember him, he can't speak.
Yes.
And the second time he came to court, he had his cousin with him who fell asleep in your courtroom.
I do remember all of that, actually.
And both of them, on each occasion, it was, oh, these people are my caregivers. And so now I have this young lady who says, I'm his caretaker. She said, well, I'm living there. And I said, well, if he's in jail, why are you there? Because if he's in jail, you can't be there. I mean, there's nothing to take care of. So what prompted this case was in December, the township went by to do an inspection. And they called my client and said, we're going to fail this. There's people living here who are dealing drugs. They moved in a trailer outside the building. And the township basically was going to condemn the property But we said, well, look, but everybody agreed that, and when my client went over there to find out.
Hold up. Who is the person on trial? It's a lot of people on here.
Yeah, because I'm like the tenant is in jail, and they've been. My question is, how come they've been to court like 2 or 3 times and no eviction has happened? Like, how much time y'all gonna give this tenant? And now the tenant locked up, and people just staying in the house. I'm not getting that.
I'm confused. I'm like, wait a minute, why is there 17 people on here? Unless
Right.
all these people got cases and they
Yeah, so well, these people, yeah, a lot of times when you watch these, it'd be other people from other cases sitting there. Like
okay.
you're really in the courtroom, you know what I'm saying? They just can't talk until their case come up.
Somebody 2 people in the car, somebody walking around look like they cleaning up. Hey,
What's going on? He found 4 young men, and none of whom was Jabron Haywood. And so we said, well, we don't have a lease. We're just going to send a 30-day notice. In the meantime, there have been 2 drug raids on the property in the last couple of weeks.
Oh my God.
And so Miss Butterly does not have a right to be there. I don't know whether she's his caretaker or not, but if she's his caretaker, he's not there. And certainly when we came to court a year ago, I shouldn't say a year ago, probably April or May, he didn't bring Miss Butterly. He brought on 2 different occasions 2 different men. And so he doesn't have a lease.
Hold on. Is this David guy? Is he the attorney?
Yeah, it sounds like he's the attorney for the landlord. My question is she the caregiver for the tenant, and the tenant is in jail? Who is she caring for? Like what's and they didn't been to court like 2 or 3 times. He keeps saying that. I'm like, and the house got raided for drugs a couple times. This landlord house probably crap, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, he got to gut that. I already know
what
that.
you got to go through to get somebody out. You just let somebody stay there. They in jail. They people staying there getting the house raided. You know what I'm saying? That look bad on you as a landlord.
Yeah, this only 8 minutes. Yeah, we definitely gonna do this other one.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a right to dispute this.
Right.
I would like a judgment. I think we did a second mailing. So I would like a judgment that require whoever is in there to be out within 10 days.
Now, Your Honor, if I may.
Well, you can't represent him, ma'am.
It's the woman at this Molly Butterfly. She the one who representing old boy. She look like she high on the finest meth or something.
Yeah, she was there when they got raided. She probably was there when he got in the back room with the pipe,
trying to push it down the toilet.
Like, hold on, y'all.
But the only reason I'm allowing you to speak is because their proof of service says you were the person that was served, but they did do a second mailing. So what is it you'd like to say, ma'am?
As far as the drug raid goes, his nephew, after he went to jail, came into the house. I've been in the room for over 2 months trying to get him out of the house, been being threatened. You know, they will not leave. As far as people living in that trailer, that was his nephew, that his nephew put on the property. Nobody was living in there. So that is completely false information. As far as me being Jabron's caretaker, I've been Jabron's caretaker for 10 years. At the time, him and I had
fallen. He's been to court at least twice, and you've never been to court with him.
Right. At that point, we had a falling out. I was actually caretaking for a gentleman who just passed away. I've actually been back there since, I'm trying to think, May this year. I was back there. I moved back there. And as far as me staying there, I stay there because he needs breathing treatments and whatnot. And I take care of him that way. So, and I feed him and whatnot. So
you don't need no assistant to get no breathing treatment. I had asthma.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what is he doing to get in jail if he need all this help, this breathing. I mean, I'm trying to figure out why he need to care. Something not adding up. I don't even know.
Is she in the house right now?
It sounds like it.
Cause she sure look like she on the couch with her ankles crossed.
I'm just thinking like you gotta be active to get locked up, right? If he need a caretaker, something ain't adding up to me. But I guess I don't be knowing how I get this far. Like you didn't have this person in your house, they in jail, they selling dope out the crib, and you got to keep going back to court to get them out. That is crazy.
Somebody said Judge Mathis would have been called her a crackhead. Facts. Facts.
But he's been in jail since when?
October, end of October, beginning of
No,
November.
if he's been in jail since October, you're not taking care of him living in a
I
place.
understand that is where I stay, and that is where my address is. I'm not a squatter. I don't appreciate you being rude to me because I did not do anything in this case.
Oh,
All I'm saying is I don't want to pull the squatters' rights, but I have been there for almost a year. I do have the
squatters' rights, ma'am. So you can stop that. But secondly, if you're the person who's been there since October and the place has been raided twice, then you seem to be the person that's responsible for that.
There's no drugs. There's no drugs found at the first raid. As far as the second raid goes, I have no idea. There, his traffic, as far as the people that were there when they came to do the inspection, those were his nephews that were there in town for Thanksgiving, and we told him.
Professor Terrence Tao is the equivalent of a rock star in mathematics.
Regarded as the
hold up. Who's she talking to?
She told the judge. Wait a minute. She said the first raid it was no drugs in there, cause she been there since then. And then the second raid it was his nephews because they was in town. So the police just caught on to him that quick. Like they ain't raiding a house without a reason like that, not for drugs. So it's like, yeah, this crazy.
But then
I just feel for the landlord. You got to go through all of this just to get your house back.
And then who she talking to, dog? Like she raising her voice, and I'm like, hold on, like, ma'am, pipe down.
Oh, Zoom court different. People
That's
on
what
Zoom.
she in person.
Yeah, you thought internet gangsters was bad. Zoom court, they be getting crazy with the judges.
Oh, child. At least I gotta let they ad play so they can get their little monies.
Oh yeah.
Already played enough.
All right, Mr. Fanter, given that the defendant is not present and he does not have representation present, anybody with the legal authority to represent him on his behalf, he has been properly served with the notice to quit based on the documentation I have in the file, which indicates that he was served on December the 15th with the notice that he had 30 days to move by January 20th of 2025. Which means that if anybody was present at that particular place, they would know that as well. I'm going to grant your motion for a judgment in this case, giving them until you say what date to move, Mr. Ventura.
10 days, which would be, I believe, February 18th. Do you need me sworn, Your Honor?
Yes. You swear or affirm the testimony you provided is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Everything I just said is true to the best of my knowledge, information, and belief. And I will. His lease expired. It ended on June 1st of 2024. So this 30-day notice was sent because the lease has expired. We gave him more than 30 days notice. Whoever is in there has not moved out. We'd request a judgment for possession with a writ after 10 days if they have not vacated the property.
Judgment for possession.
Okay, so now what if I'm not out in 10 days?
Then the sheriff's department will be out on the 11th date to give you notice that you have 24 hours to move. If you don't move after that, ma'am, they'll be out with the sheriff's department's might to place you and everything in the premises on the street.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
She hung up.
Yeah. So his lease was up in June of 2024. They in court. They didn't have several court dates. This is the third one, seems like. And it's February 2025. They just in the house selling dope and they can't pay their rent. Oh, the actual tenant is in jail. That's just a damn landlord nightmare. Like you know what I'm saying, from June of last year to February before you can get somebody out. That's crazy.
That's well, Detroit kind of don't be no better depending on what time of year, especially if it's around holiday time.
Yeah, I tell people, man, send your notices quick.
That's like the lady who I was telling you about earlier. And I'm like, girl, she talking about, well, what am I supposed to do? I was like, I would have been filed the eviction. Today is the 15th. This one she told me. She like,
Right.
well, I ain't heard from her in 12 days. Well, she should hear from my attorney. And she was like, well, maybe I just sent her a notice to quit. Maybe forget all that, call the attorney and go and get up out of here so she can be up out of there by April, hopefully.
Yeah, paperwork sound loud. Like if you ain't heard from nobody, that paperwork will speak very loud for you. Like
That
a
sounds like
lot of people
abandonment.
just wait.
That sounds like abandonment, you ask me. And she
Yeah.
was like, well, what is in your lease? I was like, rent is due on the first, late after the third, after the fifth, I'm starting the eviction. So on the sixth. And when she like, well, what's your late fee? I was like $100.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck?
That's crazy.
This is
That Judge Simpson, he is in I think he down by like he's Washington County.
mm-hmm. Hold on, this got a couple more minutes left.
All right.
Anything else fun and exciting today?
Not anything fun and exciting. Oh, that's it.
It's what we call the case of
But who was the guy in the back? These people in the background in court doing too much. Like one walking around outside like he cutting the grass.
Yeah, they don't have no respect for the courts.
That's because they in Zoom.
I was watching the Anton. It was the lady who kids died in the car.
Man, that me and Erica just did a show on that.
Oh, for real? I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, because like I feel for the kids because they are innocent, but I feel like the mama and the daddy both failed them. Both need to be in jail because some of
Yeah.
this it just wasn't adding up to me.
Yeah, I watched the post Zeke made, and he was saying we gotta cut it with the bum ass dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, dude, you in Nova at the gym. You know what I'm saying? He had like I think he had 3 kids by her, right? 2 or 3.
2 or 3, because Erica called me and she was like, "Where's Nova?" I was like, "I ain't never heard of no Nova." And then
No,
I thought about it. I was like, "Oh, Nova." I was like, "It's like 30 minutes or something outside Detroit. If you're a West Sider, for me, it's 45 to an hour depending on traffic because I'm further east." And I'm
right.
like, "I don't know what no Nova is." Like my only argument was like, "Okay, I do agree with the dad when he said this," and people was like, "Asia, you a Pookie lover." I was like, "Call me what you want, but whatever." She did not say, according to him in the news interview, that when she called, she just said, "Hey, can I get the kids?" She didn't say, "Hey, can you get the kids because I'm homeless?" And I'm like, well,
Right.
he kind of got a point because those are 2 different questions. But
Well, if anybody ever had a baby mama, right, or had the baby mama baby daddy drama, and I'm not making no excuse for him because it just seemed kind of it, it is something like, oh, I can do this on my own, I don't need you. And then when somebody call you, it's like it's inconvenience. Like if you call me and I'm at work and you just say, can you get the kids? It's different than can you get the kids? We sleeping out the car. I'm taking off work. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's
But my
totally different.
question is, how did how did it lead up to the point where you don't know your kids sleeping in the car? And he said on there he hadn't spoken, he hadn't seen them in months. Like I just can't. I mean, I can't say she wouldn't, but no, I don't know. I do know some females. I would say for the most part, the average woman, if you got kids with somebody and y'all don't have a place to live, you gonna try to get the daddy to come get them or put them with the daddy's family or something like that. I can't. I know some females that would like, oh, my kids with me, they all I got type thing,
But you
but don't,
got some people who got too much pride though.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, but at the same time, dude, come on, you done had several babies with this lady, and when people like how Erica didn't know where Novi was, anybody stay here knows nothing is cheap in Novi. You gotta have some money to spend.
That's the first thing I told Erica when we was on the show. I was like, nobody is not cheap. The
Right.
minimum rent in Novi is probably at least, and I'm being generous, is $2,000.
Yeah, compared to Detroit, where it's probably $800 less, right?
Yeah,
On
easy.
average. So it's not. I mean, it was that whole situation is wrong. I think it's something left out of that story though.
Yeah, and then I don't know if the police gonna still investigate it or they feel shame, like, cause they dropped the ball. But I think they both, just like the woman. Did you see about the woman in Pontiac who left her kids
Oh
for
yeah, she left.
5 years?
Yeah, and they just in the house in the condo though. You know what I'm saying? They said she was just dropping off food at the door. They said them kids could hardly walk because their toenails were so long.
Yeah,
Was
and then they said the girl's hair, well, all their hair was matted. The oldest
yeah,
is now 15, so this been going on since he was 10. You know they set back 5 years in school
yeah,
minimum. And then they said it was 4 to 5 feet of trash in the house, feces everywhere, plumbing wasn't working, feces in the tub, toilet. So they stink, they dingy. Them girls probably done started they cycle.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah.
bruh, she needs to be underneath the jail when she all on Facebook turning up, got her hair done, nails done, fresh J's on, everything. Probably got some buffs.
Oh, I ain't see all of that.
Yeah,
I just
you know the Facebook detectives done found her
Oh
page.
yeah, they found yeah.
I'm like, this don't
That's
make no
sad as
sense.
hell.
And then they said one of the kids said that it was the mama dropping off food and some stranger. And I'm like, who is the stranger? Because if
They
my
need that. Yeah,
they all need to be in jail. Cause ain't no
yeah,
way you dropping this food off for the kids. You ain't knocking on the door, hey y'all all right. 5 years by themselves. And the only reason I think it came out because the landlord said she stopped paying rent like in October. So up until then,
right.
she was just paying the rent and when nobody them kids could have died in that house. They in hell and feet.
I
There was rats and roaches and all type of shit in there.
Yeah, I don't be understanding. Like I could see like if the father not alive or something, but most guys I know, like I out of all my friends, we all had our kids. Like where was the situation? Like my one friend, his baby mama dropped his son off and just left. You know what I'm saying? Like it's it if you got a dude, he gonna take care of them kids before they homeless. Like y'all might not get along, y'all, but I just can't see it getting to that point where you like forget these kids, but I don't want him to have them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then the mama for the Pontiac lady, she gonna say some in the thing I read on Crime and the D in Metro Detroit, they quoted her and she said something along the lines like, well, the daddy, he don't want nothing to do with him. Like, why'd you all of a sudden putting this on the daddy, girl? This is on you.
Right.
Like that's on you. The daddy is a whole nother situation. We don't know if he gave up his parental rights or if you had been lying to him the whole time and he trying to see his kid. Like we don't know that. But
Yeah.
as of right now, this on you. My mama told me, Asian, if you have kids, them kids is your kids until that man proves otherwise.
Right.
And I'm like,
I mean, but they both need to be held accountable because
oh,
it's
I
like
agree.
at some point in time you gotta fight for your rights as a parent. You can't just give up. Especially now, we got enough examples to say, okay, if I ain't seen my kids, I need to at least be able to check on them, see that they doing good,
Right.
right? So I mean, God, dog, it's
Like that's sad. I'm like, dog, what's going on? Like, it's so many people out here who probably can't have kids who would love to be good parents, and y'all
yep,
out here doing the most. I'm like, 3 kids. I think it was 3 or 4 that was left in that Pontiac situation, and then back to the first one with the 2 kids that passed away. They said the youngest one just had a pamper and a t-shirt on. Why this kid ain't got no clothes, no coat on? All these free programs out here to give out free clothes. You got a big ass
yep.
puffer coat on. If anything, it should have been the reverse that the mama should have been found passed away from hypothermia or whatever, and them kids was all right.
Yeah, that was my she was saying they had everything they wanted, electronics and everything, but then
Why is
they
that?
don't they got on a t-shirt and no coat. And I'm trying to figure out where's that thought process? And it's not to blame, but well it is to
It
blame
is
because
the blame.
they shouldn't have electronics and no coats if y'all staying out in the cold. But
Listen, and
man,
then
I
they
would
said
have been walking that casino all night. To
and then
get
that's what I was telling my sister. I was like, this story ain't adding up, and I don't know if the police just gonna say, they just not gonna investigate it for real. Because
right,
I'm like, you telling me kids can go in the casino, they just can't go on the casino floor. Now, if y'all went in there and security put y'all out, that's another story. But I'm pretty sure if they would have went in there, went to that front desk, hey, look, I'm homeless, my car ran out of gas, whatever, they would at least call the police or something, fire
Right.
department, somebody. I'm like, this ain't adding up. It be people in the hallway at Greektown all the damn time just chilling.
Yeah. But to her defense, though, it's like, you know, if she in that situation, a lot of times the first thing they do is want to take your kids from you sometimes. You know what I'm saying? If you can't provide housing. And she probably felt like, I can't let nobody know about this. I mean, it's a lot of reasons, but it don't justify what she did. But I can kind of understand probably what she was thinking. But at the same time, they shouldn't have electronics and not codes.
Backwards as hell. And
Yeah.
then I think it was 8 people in the car. So it was the mama, the grandma, her 2 kids, so her siblings, I think they're like teenagers or something, and then her 3 to 5 kids. So it was damn near 8 people in this old ass van. And then something about the interview Erica pulled up, the grandma, they asked her, she like, well, when I woke up, you know, I didn't know what was going on. So you just slept through the whole night in the, in the freezing van. And then
Right.
they said that the kids passed away from I think CO2 poisoning. So I don't know if they had like one of the mini propane tanks in the car trying to stay warm. But even if you're trying to stay warm, why this baby ain't got no clothes on? That's the part I couldn't get past.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. It
I'm like,
said grandma was like 48 or something like that.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
that sounds weird by itself, but I digress. But
Yeah.
she had 2 teenage kids in there, which is her siblings plus. So all y'all homies, you telling me 48-year-old grandma, 30-year-old, 29-year-old mama can't both go work at Burger King and pay rent somewhere? You can get something in Detroit 600-700 a month still. Y'all gonna be deep as hell in the 2-bedroom, but you can
Yeah,
still.
but it's better than the car.
It's better than
But
nothing.
but see, this is scenario, and I'm glad we brought this up. This is scenario that like when these judges sometimes when they're thinking about you evicting a family or evicting somebody, they're thinking that like this situation, worst case scenario, these people gonna end up living in their car. Well, that's not really the case all the time. Some people just choosing not to pay rent. And when we listen to these cases and see these people, I mean, if they selling drugs out the house, they at least should be have money to pay their rent, right? So it's it's crazy the perception that some of the judges have. They just think everybody gonna be out homeless once they get evicted. Now they already got money saved up for their next spot. They just trying to get away with paying us.
But this my other argument. The kids got electronics, but no coats, no clothes. As
Right?
far as the judges go with putting people out, I don't really care if people be homeless if you get evicted because I was always taught I don't pay my bills, I have nowhere to stay. Now I might not have no food to eat, but I ain't gonna be homeless.
Yeah.
It's
That's
priority. Like if I gotta cut back, hair and nails ain't getting done. I
right.
ain't eating out, I'm cooking. I'm gonna give me a bridge card. Like all these programs that's out here, and she got all them kids. Like there's no way. And then they got a GoFundMe up. That GoFundMe is the most ghettoest thing I ever read in my life. They raised like 50 some thousand, and it's I think they stopped it or whatever. And then I think I read some landlord and gave her a house free rent for a year. And I'm like, this is not solving the problem. This is a band-aid. So when that year is up and now you like, okay, rent is 1,500, 1,800, wherever the house is at, you gonna put her out now?
Right. And he gonna have a hard time putting her out because this whole situation gonna come up in the story in court. So I
And
don't
then
know.
they gonna keep giving them more time because that judge ain't gonna want to be the bad guy or the bad girl.
And
So
if the daddy working in Novi, I mean, I'm not saying that his child support should cover rent, but it should be a substantial amount if she got a couple kids. If he can afford to stay in Novi, he got to be
well,
keeping
he's
up.
staying with his new girlfriend, mama and daddy.
Oh, so he just a bum for real then.
Cause I told you Facebook already
So
they
he could,
they
so
don't
he
girlfriend with
probably
their
couldn't. Yeah, he probably couldn't even get the kids. He if he wanted to, because they probably like we ain't bringing on you ain't bringing them kids out here.
where he gonna have him anyway. He ain't got his own place. He's staying with the girlfriend and her family in
Yeah,
Nova.
that's what I'm saying. They probably yeah. But
So it's
then
all
at the
about
same time, if you're a father, you gotta know like you gotta have a place always ready for you and your kids. Because anything can happen. Like, you know, what if something had happened to the mother? What you gonna do then? You know what I'm saying? You can't just taking on your people. I mean, it's just crazy all around. It's like, damn, didn't nobody think about that before they even had kids.
Yeah, and then I'm like, where is y'all spending y'all money? Because on the interviews I seen, I can't really watch it because I just can't understand stuff. We got common sense, and people who don't talk like I be forgetting that Detroit got a higher literacy rate, so it's hard for me to watch some stuff. Like, it really is. Me and Erica was sitting here watching it, like, I was like, I gotta pause this because I just can't listen to this. But I'm like, but look, Erica, her hair braided. She had to pay somebody to braid her hair.
Right.
Priorities. I guarantee they got phones. She said they got electronics, so I bet you she got an Instagram page.
Right.
And then I'm like, Detroit, one of the few cities I know of, they got hella help out here.
Yeah.
But they said she did call, and I don't know if she just called one time or how that worked, and they told her whatever they told her. I don't know.
It's programs. If you got kids, it's programs. But to be fair, a lot of times when you're in that situation, somebody gonna call and get protective service, and they like, oh, if I go in this program, they gonna try to take my kids. They don't always try to separate them, but if they can't find a place for you and the kids, they gonna get the kids some shelter, and that may be in some type of home or something temporarily until you can get on your feet. And
But
she
ain't
probably
that,
didn't want to part ways with them.
but to me, that's selfish because at least the kids would
Oh, it's real selfish.
have been alive and would have been okay, and you go out here and get yourself together, then you get your kids back. And that's what I was telling Erica. I'm like, she couldn't get the kids up to CPS.
Yeah, because people do it all the time. They come back 6 months or a year and get their kids, and you can still go see your kids. So it's like, yeah, it's just a bad situation all the way around, but it's just a lack of accountability and like standing up and protecting your kids. And it's just, I just feel like some people in that situation, they wasn't thinking when they had kids in the first place. But yeah, I'm still putting some of the blame on old dude because like,
I put it on both of them.
yeah, you can't have kids out here you ain't seen in months.
And
At least
I
no.
actually blame the girlfriend too because you got to know this man got kids. You ain't asking him, hey, where your kids? You ain't seen him. But some women don't care. Like, oh, he taking care of me and my kids because you got those type of men too who will help take care of another broad kid when he take care of his.
Yeah, but he ain't taking care of her and hers because they staying with her parents.
Could be giving her the whole check and they boiling out because the pictures that's all on Facebook, they booed up in the bar somewhere.
I need to see.
I go because I think Erica tagged me. I'll go back and tag you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, that's sad though. I don't.
Yeah, it
That's
really is.
sad.
Especially
Yeah,
for stuff that's preventative.
you know.
Let's get this one going.
She's just removing her things so that repairs can be.
I guess I'm unclear
Yeah,
as
he
to why you're holding the unit. Sycamore Meadows versus Kaywood.
Again, Carrie's in Jill Bauer on behalf of Ms. Case.
Hold up. Did you read that?
Wait, a rent assistant tenant who burned down her apartment twice. Oh man. And
Oh,
blocking repairs and new renters while demanding a replacement unit. And shut this down. Oh yeah, this Judge Simpson. I'm curious to see what he say on this one.
because he in Detroit, right? Or this one you talking about?
Yeah, he out by in Washington, like that.
Like Yipsy?
He covered like Ypsilanti, Ann Arbor, and all of those areas down there.
Child.
All right.
Judge, I know that last time I wasn't here, I got an email from opposing counsel regarding a stipulated order. I sent her a revised stipulated order as to what my client would be willing to agree to, meaning to give Miss P sometime a date where she can get everything out of the unit and she can take anybody that she needs to take with. We're just asking that they wear appropriate face coverings because of the situation. I wasn't.
Pause. So she done burnt the house and still living in the burnt house and don't want to leave?
That's what it sounded like, because they want her to go in and protect herself. No, it sounded like she out, but she want to come back and get her stuff. But she asking for another unit or something. I don't know. I gotta watch it more to
Okay, I'm gonna let it play because I was confused.
All I heard was rent assistant and burnt unit, and I'm like, why she not gone already?
That's what I'm saying. That's a safety hazard.
Yeah.
I heard through the grapevine of what happened. I just want the court to be aware it's about insurance bids. I mean, realistically, insurance bids and contractor bids and making sure that we have the appropriate people in the unit. All of the things need to be removed, Judge. It's soot filled. There's a wall that needs to come down. Am I correct? There's a whole wall that actually needs to be replaced. So it's not something where council wanted Miss P to be able to leave items upstairs. That's a problem because the smell is going to stay. You know all of the things I'm going to say to you. And so I really just need all of her stuff out, and then they can do what they can do. And that's where I'm at. That's what I can agree to at this time. And I sent that order over to opposing counsel for review, and they can pick a day.
Well, Your Honor, if they're willing to rehouse her, she would have a place to remove her belongings too. But she's living in her car right now.
Judge, I don't think that's quite accurate because my client's actually seen her with her grandma, who's also in Sycamore Meadows. So I could be wrong, but I believe that that's where they've seen her living and residing. At this time, Judge, I don't have the authorization to agree to rehouse her, and I don't think that my client's willing to do that either, from what I've been told at this point. So I'm willing to give her the time that she needs to get her stuff out of there so they can get in the unit and do what they need to do.
And we believe that they should be rehousing her. So we'd ask the court to.
But she's not in the unit. So I guess I'm unclear as to why you're holding the unit hostage.
Well,
wait, hold up.
We're not really holding it.
I mean,
hold up. So her stuff is in a unit that burned, but she don't want to move. She want to get her stuff out, but they're saying everything needs to go so they can come in and fix the unit. She wants to leave it there until she get another house, or another unit. But if it's all burnt and got soot, like, you should want them to take it out.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't.
Sure, she not getting none of that reimbursed because it sounds like she caused the fire.
Yeah, and she should have had renter's insurance, which it sounds like she didn't. But in addition to that, if I'm the landlord, like I guess that's the attorney, I don't want a tenant or somebody that's not a contractor or inspector going back into a burnt unit, because that's liability. Like, if there's any structural damage, they get hurt, then you are screwed as the landlord.
Yeah, because that's what she's trying to do, go in there and fall down or something.
Yeah, that's crazy.
This is crazy.
Because that's what you're doing. I mean, they can't, if her things are in there, they can't do anything. And so I don't know who that benefits.
Well, Your Honor, I was not aware that it seemed to me that the damage was just in the kitchen and that there wouldn't be any work being done upstairs. So that's why I thought she could leave her large items upstairs because she has nowhere else to put them right now. If she was rehoused, she would have a place to put them. That's what I was thinking. I did not have the information that a wall needed to be replaced. That would make it untenable to store things on the second floor.
Okay. So now we are aware that that's the case. So what's defendant's position? Because whether she's rehoused or not, you can't just hold this unit. I mean, I can issue an order that she has to remove her items, or she's at a certain date they're abandoned, right? And then they can remove them.
Well, I just heard with you that the second floor. So can I ask her if she has a place to move the larger items? Your Honor, Ms. P has items in the unit that she wants to remove, but she she's willing to not take the larger items because she has nowhere to store them, but she just wants the court to be clear that she's not surrendering her right to the unit. She's just removing her things so that repairs can begin. That's what she's concerned about.
No,
I had
that's not how that works.
Wait a minute. So she wanted. Wait a minute. So she.
So
Oh,
what I understood, she want to get her stuff out so they can fix it up, and she thinks she going back.
Yeah, but it sounded like that's why she wanted to leave some of her stuff in there, and she wanted to be able to go in and out and access it as she wanted. But yeah, then I'm thinking like if the place burned that bad, do you even want that stuff? And why would you put it in a clean unit? You know, it's hard to clean some of that stuff once it's got all the fires.
That shit is in there.
Yeah,
Depending on how long it's been sitting there.
yeah, everything's smelling like smoke. Yeah, that's crazy.
Trifling.
He looking like
right. He looking like us.
At this point, I think I've said it already twice now. My client's not willing to rehouse her. I don't, at this point, I just need her to get the stuff out so that we can get done what we need to get done. This isn't the first fire that took place in this unit. This is the second fire. So there's problems there, but I think before the court today is what we've discussed about removing the items. And so that's where I'm at.
The order that was sent over regarding removal, what was the date?
I just need her to pick a date. And so that the order says that within the next week, she'll pick a date and she'll be able to go on that date and bring individuals with her. Can I see the?
That's my order.
Okay, Judge, I sent it to her. I thought she.
Now that attorney, no, she can't reach over there and grab that attorney stuff. At least she did check her on that. No, ma'am.
It was one paragraph, Judge, and I'll read it to you.
What the heck? How you ain't had it?
She like, I'm fed up with this shit.
Defendant shall be provided a full day within the next week to go through her belongings and remove any and all belongings from the unit. Defendant shall be allowed to bring people with her to assist her. Defendant and anyone going into the unit shall wear protective clothing and mask while in the unit. So ordered. And if she wants to pick a date now, I can revise it and put the date.
Hold on, but if they do allow her in there, they need to be a police or something in there because she might go in there and never want to come out the way she acting.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm not getting what I mean. I can understand she want her stuff, but again, it seemed like she really holding the unit hostage, like saying you can't fix it with my stuff in there, because they can't really do nothing because then they're liable if any of her stuff get damaged, which is already damaged. They just don't want her to claim that they damaged something or stole it or threw it out. It's just, yeah.
This crazy.
And the time she'll be able to be there.
He's just like, this some BS.
Give me a date.
Yep, he like, y'all figure this shit out. Hurry up.
Right.
She needs to talk to find out who can help her, but she will pick a date.
Okay.
For the 7th of February, so within the next week.
He like.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. This
is what I think he should do for the rule. She said the 7th of February. Okay, if your stuff ain't out on the 7th, on the 8th is gonna be in the dumpster because we gave you ample time with the date that you selected.
Right. Yeah, and they got to get the unit fixed because if this is in an apartment building, the longer that unit sit like that, it's gonna start impacting the other units.
Yeah, and they're gonna start smelling.
Right. Well, pick a date. I'll pick a date.
Okay.
It's February 6th.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Judge.
So put that in the order. I'll sign the order, and then what do I need to do? Adjourn this case out to deal with the.
I have two other things that I want to put on.
Sure.
I'd like to add an explicit sentence to the order that clarifies that she's not giving up her right to be housed by emptying out the unit?
No.
Well, if the case continues, of course she's not. She's
Okay.
challenged. I don't know why that needs to
Okay,
be
I
there,
just
but
want that to be a part of it.
otherwise she'd get her stuff out and we're done. But obviously we're not.
Okay.
I'll
The
be
other,
handling this when I get Social Security, apparently. Go ahead.
okay. I think that the stove should be preserved for examination, since that's the key item about how the fire started.
The stove should be preserved.
Ma'am, that's what the fire department do.
She probably want to prove that she didn't start it. They probably provided her the stove, so she probably blaming them for it.
Oh, because it was faulty, but it done happened twice, so they might say it the first time, but the second time they like, bro, just get out, because ain't nobody else stuff caught fire.
Yeah.
She probably was frying some chicken or something, grease fire.
Then her yays fogged up and she couldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. This man.
That's crazy. All right, let me press play.
The cat gonna testify? I'm sorry. I thought I'd ask.
Your Judge, there's pictures of the stove and with the I think they're attached to. There's actually pictures in the fire.
Up. She's saying her goddamn cat started the fire.
Oh no.
She is standing firm on her claim that her cat turned the stove on, causing the fire. Ma'am. Now I know these animals are talented, but Hawkeye ain't turning no stove on.
Right.
Bruh.
Fire report with showing that the stove was actually on, that the knob was on to turn. So I don't know what.
Yeah, I know, but the issue is whether or not a human being turned it on.
I don't know what the issue is, Judge. I understand very, very clear.
I'm not sure how we're going to resolve that, but
I'm not either.
I would like an opportunity to see if I can find someone who might be able to weigh in on that.
I don't know how
this cat still available.
Ask the cat.
I just asked you a question because do you still have the cat? Okay.
Judge, I don't know how she wants me to preserve it. So I have no.
You still got the cat?
So the cat died in the fire?
The cat gonna be a witness.
So how they gonna know the cat telling like purr if you turn on the stove?
Right.
Way of preserving a stove. So unless Miss.
Well.
Dog.
Moisturizer helps your skin, right?
This is getting ridiculous.
That's crazy.
This is
it's tough being a landlord. So Judge Simpson, and it's another. I'm gonna send you this other judge up in Lansing. She's straightforward. Like if it ain't in the paperwork, it don't matter. We gonna have to review one of her cases too. But yeah, Judge Simpson cool. So where the cat at?
He looked like he want to cuss.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
I would imagine that Sycamore Meadows has some storage. I mean, I get the request because somebody's going to show me how this.
There's actually a statement in the report from the fire chief that Miss P said that when she walked in and saw the smoke, she heard the clicking of the stove and then walked back out as well. So I don't know how preserving the stove is.
Hold on. So this is exactly why I started putting all electric stoves in my rental. Cause that's a gas stove. You heard the clicking. You know how I make the little tick sound.
Yeah.
That's exactly why. Cause when I did Balfour, I did a conversion for gas or electric because I was selling it at first. Then when I decided to rent it, the electric one just happened to be on sale. And then when I thought about it, I was like, you know what, going forward, I'm doing all electric.
Yeah. Yep.
Cause that gas, if that flame go the wrong way or the wind hit it, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Or they leave it halfway on where you can hear the gas hissing.
That's probably what she talking about.
Yep.
Is going to change any of the evidence that's out there, but
Are you want the stove preserved for what purpose? To determine whether or not
It
there's
could
some.
be started by an animal. I mean, that's what they put.
So the attorney a retard too. What
Yeah.
school this attorney got her degree from? Because this ain't making no sense.
Well, I mean, she's fighting for her client. Like, you got to think if the attorney was hired to protect the client, regardless of how crazy it sounds, she got to throw some curveballs in there anyway.
But she got to be one of them. What is it? The public defender or whatever, like that program they got here for tenants. I know you ain't pay no lawyer for this.
Yeah, no, she didn't, but still, I mean, she gotta. I mean, that's why she that type of lawyer. She not on the other side because she probably feel for the lady, right? So, but yeah, my attorney would eat her ass up.
Look, Ponce will destroy her, bro.
Yeah.
This,
Like, where is it saying at least she can have a cat? Like, we going down all of that, right?
yeah, we going word for word. Can you even have a pet? So you should be kicked out just off that.
Yeah.
In their motion that I got yesterday.
But that's what was in the. I didn't put that in the
But
motion.
that was a statement, I think, by your client to the fire.
But she recorded the conversation with the fire department. That is not what she said. So the fire report is not accurate.
Okay, well, to make it fair, you guys are gonna have to find some place to store the stove. The stove, prepare an order, gotta preserve the stove as well
If my
as.
client has no place to put it, what would you like me to do? Does Miss Bauer want to find somewhere to preserve it?
Right.
Judge, because my client doesn't have storage. If they, I mean.
And then hold on, check this out.
You want me to pay to keep a stove that's fire damaged, just so you can decide when you want to go out and investigate it, which you don't have any money to pay somebody to invest. Like, that don't make sense. Like, why would I pay for storage for a burnt up stove that caused the fire? Well, I mean, I'm not a fire that
Just gonna put in the dumpster and go get something else and call it a day, or take it to the scrapyard. Like, girl, and you think you about to put a burnt stove in the storage unit?
So this is what, when people ask me, like when I tell people, I say I'd never go to court. Like, I always just I let my attorneys handle everything. I don't even show up.
Me neither.
I tell them my side of the story. They show up, and I don't even want to sit through nothing like this.
I couldn't do it because I'd be wanting to fight. Like, girl, you just gonna sit up here and lie to these folks?
Yeah, that too. Plus, I don't want to pay for parking and sit down there for several hours and they hear your case last. I'm thinking all the money I missed out on just trying to get this tenant out. I'd rather be doing something else. But I couldn't sit there and listen to nothing like this, especially you just burnt my unit up.
Only course I'm sitting in when I file liens on folks. Now I sit up in there. I got the whole day. I'm gonna have some snacks.
Oh yeah, that's a little different. But something like this, I ain't about to.
Oh yeah, tenant stuff. I ain't in there.
Yeah.
Here go the lease. Here go the text, and I'm about to go check all your social because y'all put all your business on there anyway. She ain't got no rent because she keep going down to Miami. That's why my rent ain't got paid. You already know.
That's crazy.
Can you guys work out where to store it? I mean, because obviously somebody's gonna have to pay to have it, or.
Well, hold on. Who owns the stove? If the landlord owns the stove, that's they stove.
Yeah, that they get to throw away. Like, they don't have no use for it. Why am I paying for a fee for something I don't want, and you want it? Then you should pay for it.
Yeah, because if that's the landlord stove, ma'am, you don't own that stove. So if you want to investigate the stove to see if Mr. Fifi turned the stove on, you need to pay for that. And then you gonna sign off because any damage that this stove caused going out of here, it could blow up or anything like that. You're liable. And then, well, I'm pretty sure the fire department disconnected the stove because I was gonna say that's another thing. You gotta make sure somebody disconnected it right and hit the switch.
Right. Yeah.
What do you want to do to this stove? You want somebody to go and tell you whether or not this stove can be turned on.
by a cat.
by an animal, right?
I'm sorry, Your
So-
Honor, could you repeat that?
I know, Miss Lee was all in your ear. So when would you get the person out?
I'll start working on it immediately. Maybe the stove could be moved to the basement since there's not going to be any work done in the basement.
Well, I don't know that. I mean, I'm not the contractor, so I don't know whether or not it's.
I mean, if
Okay, so I'm going to be serious about this for a moment. The stove needs to be put in some secure location. All right. You're just going to have to, the plaintiff is going to have to figure that out.
that's fine, Judge. I'll figure it out.
Okay.
And then the last thing, Your Honor, is
Hold on, the plaintiff is the attorney for the landlord, right?
Right, I think so in this case.
So why
Well,
they
usually it is, but I think in this case, the tenant is because they're trying to have the right to get all of their stuff out and right to go back into the unit. So they may have brought a case against the landlord getting permission for that. So
Yeah, I was about to say, like, wait a minute, how is the landlord responsible for this? For doing that when they just probably want to put it in the dumpster and write it off and call it a day.
some says she blamed the cat for starting a fire in a previous court case. So this must be the second court date then.
Yeah, they said it was cause the attorney in the red for the landlord, she did say that early on. She said this is the second fire.
How many fires she get to set? Like, you get a fire allowance? Like, you just in the same building? Don't nobody find nothing wrong with that?
That's why, and that's probably why the landlord is like, okay, you know what? She need to go. We gonna fix it up, and that be that. You think we about to put you in another unit and you burn that one too, girl? You got a problem.
Her and her cat.
I'm like, and then she in here telling this lie to everybody, like, yeah, my cat turned the stove on. Now they need to put her in a mental institution.
And the cat.
With her cat. With her cat. This is crazy.
I finally got paperwork for the case this week. I'd like to file an answer on behalf of Ms. E. I need time to file an answer to the motion that I got yesterday, and then possibly draft my own motion for summary disposition. So I need time for those things with permission of the court.
How much time are you going to need?
I would like 3 weeks. I don't know if the court would give me 3 weeks or not, because I still have a FOIA request that I'm going to be picking up today that seems to be pretty lengthy.
Judge, we're before you on the 18th of February. You can stick us on that date. If you're okay with it.
Probably not, but okay. I mean, I will.
Do you ever wonder how Nectar can offer such an incredible deal for their adjustable bundle? This bundle includes the Nectar mattress, cooling pillows, a mat.
You gotta love that ass and hate them at the same time. I'm just some of these cases are just oh my God. I thought I heard everything until I started really watching these court cases. Like back in the day when I actually used to go to court, I would hear a lot of stuff, but then, or I would hear from some of my clients and their tenants. But yeah, after like just watching these cases, it's damn near scary to be a landlord right now.
I know one thing my tenant do for renewal. I'm sure about the schedule going up over there. Like, let me go check this house out.
Yeah, make sure it ain't no arsonist cats over there.
Well, she did ask me could she get a cat because it's been the house next door. They left that dogs in there, probably done passed away, feces, all type of stuff. So that brought rodents, and so now they done left there trying to get into the house. So I've been doing my part, and then she asked, she like, I don't even like pets. She like, can I get a cat? I'm like, yeah, like, I don't care.
I had a client. Her cats had pissed so much in the house, like they had urinated on the like the molding, the wood molding and all of that. And when we was selling it, I thought, some people just had cats and it smell, but I didn't know how bad it was. I didn't know they had sprayed the walls and all of that. So when the buyer had their inspection, they was like, no, you gotta rip all of this out. She had to spend like $20,000 extra just to get all of that stuff out. Cause they was like, you can't treat it, you gotta actually pull it out.
Yeah, because it's in there. So hopefully mine don't get like that, but I'm hoping somebody come and be like, Asia, you know, let me go and buy that because I'm about to get almost $2,000 a month for that house.
Yeah. Cats a different animal if people don't train them right and take care of them. But
I think she will because she's really clean. Like, because every time I sent pest control over there, somebody to fix them, they was like, "Oh, she made me take my shoes off."
oh yeah, then she probably the type that some people have cats and you can't even tell they got a cat in the house.
Yeah, that's good. I think she gonna do straight. It's like that or because I did my part as far as the pest control stuff goes.
Yeah.
Oh my bad, I got it muted.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
I gotta rewind.
Yeah, because I'm curious what he said.
Judge, we're before you on the 18th of February. You can stick us on that date. You're okay with that?
Probably not, but
Okay.
I mean, I will. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not giving you 3 weeks. You need to file it by the 14th.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
And then I will adjourn this matter out. We can put you on the 18th.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
then we'll figure out where we're going. February 18th, 2024, 9 a.m. That's it.
Oh, that was yesterday.
Yeah, this
You
recent.
prepare the order regarding preservation, and you prepare the other order, and then I'll sign it. Thank you.
So she gotta have all her stuff out by the 18th.
I do also.
Huh?
That's what it sounds like. And then they gotta put that stove up. I'm still curious as to where the cat is.
Right. And was you even supposed to have pets?
A picture of the cat's front paws.
Can I just make sure that the things on top of the stove don't need to be preserved? You just want the stove put in a location in the basement or something like that? I can get rid of all of this, correct? Because I'm not gonna be able, the problem with preserving everything that's burnt on the stove is the same problem with all of the stuff.
I don't think we have pictures of that. I think we're just interested in the mechanics of the stove being able to be examined. So that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
And I want pictures of the cat's front paws extended as well as the rear paws. Not that those are as important.
Okay.
Thank you. Sycamore.
God.
He just kind of played them low key. Like if y'all gonna be ignorant about it, let me go and be ignorant too.
Yep. That is hilarious.
But I mean, if you saying a cat, if you saying a cat, I mean I guess that's equivalent to fingerprints, right? Like if you saying a cat turned the stove on. Once we get this stove back, if y'all gonna do like a forensic analysis on it, we need to see if the paw prints match, right? If y'all going there with it. But I just feel for the landlord in this case because it's like nobody's thinking about how many times they done been to court on this case, and the landlord landlord paying attorney fees for a place that's fire damaged because of the tenant's cat. Now the landlord got to pay to have the stove stored, pay to get the unit renovated. I'm pretty sure they got insurance, but they still got a deductible.
Oh, I think I seen people talking about this when it said felon tenant says he prepaid rent for 6 years.
I sent that one to you.
Yeah, I think that's like this sound familiar. You want to watch this one? It's like 30 minutes.
Yeah, we can watch it. What time is it? Yeah, we can watch it. This one was funny. It's a part 1 and a 2 though.
All right, this be the last one then.
All right.
Want the house back.
I actually paid up rent in advance the whole 61 years.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's just some drug transaction.
He was in prison. Jack D. May revocable trust versus Taji Miller.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here.
Ready on that, Your Honor.
Right. Mr.
Let me read this. In today's case, a father sold a home to his son who struggles with drug problems under a land contract similar to a lease-to-own agreement. When the son stopped making payments, he moved out, but not before secretly leasing the house to someone else. Now the father is in court trying to evict this unexpected tenant, but things are about to get complicated. Oh my God.
So this is crazy because as crazy as this sounds, right? Like when you listen to the guy, the tenant, it's gonna be like, oh no, this should be a cut and dry case, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is gonna be the paperwork. We know how we always say, like when people don't have their paperwork right, the father did everything right, but like 2 or 3 things wrong with the paperwork, and that's gonna almost cost him. But we'll watch it, you'll see.
Oh Lord. Oh wait, let me see if we had any comments from the other one.
All right.
The caregiver needs to be out in 48 hours, not 10 days. Facts. That was the first one.
Oh yeah.
She blamed the cat for starting the fire. Yeah, that's crazy. I gotta find that one.
Yeah.
Isn't that the same judge from the boy that was driving suspended license? I don't know.
Yeah, court. Yeah, but he's from here though. That case was here. That was.
Oh yeah, that one went viral, didn't it?
Yup, that was Judge Simpson.
He was like, "You driving now?"
It must have headbutted a hole in the wall that caused eviction.
Something.
Belzer, do we have witnesses?
Just Mr. May, but I don't think any of the facts are contested.
Okay, let's swear him under oath anyways in case we do, I guess. What
Yeah.
May, why don't you read? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Okay, just in case. So you're under oath in case we come back to a question. Mr. Belzer, go ahead and tell me what may not be in dispute, I guess.
Judge, his property is owned by a trust. Mr. May is the trustee. And this property was sold under a land contract to his son, Brian. Brian May then entered a contract with Mr. Miller, a lease agreement. Apparently, Mr. Miller prepared, but it was a 61-year lease on a house for $1,000 a month gross. Mr. Brian May lost this house. He was not making the payments, gave a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and we now own the property. We've had no dealings. We entered into no agreement with Mr. May. He's there. He's subject to numerous felony charges, possession of a firearm, felon third time, but real important here, maintaining a drug house, and it's a bunch of drug charges he has, cocaine. And in any event, we have no relationship with him, never entered a contract with him. He's just there under a prior owner. We just want the house back.
Okay.
So hold up real quick. Miller. So when you all right, so you see how they broke this down about him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Really, in this case, his history shouldn't have anything to do with this. This should just be a straightforward landlord-tenant issue, right? Mm-hmm. But when you hear them explain the issue with his son, the owner's son, you're gonna start seeing how the finesse came together.
Child. Let me press play.
Did you have a lease agreement with Brian May? Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay, so why don't you raise your right hand just so we go this way too? Do you swear from the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. And Brian, when did you enter into a lease agreement with Brian May?
I entered this lease agreement with Brian May on July 1st, 2024.
I'm sorry, what was it? July what?
July 1st, 2024, Your Honor.
Oh, just this year, July 1st, 2024. Was there a written lease agreement of some sort?
Yes, Your Honor, it's a written agreement.
Looks like it's the one I got in the file, I guess. Mr. Belzer, have you seen it? Just so we know.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah, Michigan residential lease agreement.
Oh, this here?
Your Honor, I don't mean to interrupt. If you look at number
No, I don't know
32
what
on the
this is.
lease at the seller property.
Oh yeah, you know what? This was like in Oak, in Macomb County, I think.
32.
Oh,
Sale of property. Owner does not have right to terminate this agreement. I don't know that that's going to be binding. Who's Mr. Belzer, then on this July 1st date, that I guess this residential agreement, who owned the trust on that date?
Mr. May did, Jack May. But the property was owned under a land contract to Brian May. Brian was buying it under a land contract at that point.
Oh, it was under a land contract.
Yes.
I got you. Okay. Land
well, hold
contract. Do
on.
I have the land
So
contract?
who the owner? The man up here with his arms folded?
Yeah, so he sold it. So he had the property in the name of a trust, and he sold it to his son on land contract, trying to help his son out, right?
Mhm.
But his son didn't keep up with the payments, so they took the property back, and the son deeded the property back to the trust, right? The problem, you'll see where the problem gonna be at in their paperwork, but old boy just finessed the son pretty much. But yeah, if they had their paperwork right, they probably would have cut this off in like the first 10 minutes after the judge went over everything. But when I watched this, the judge seemed dingy too, like he not understanding a simple land contract and how the trust owned the land contract. But you'll see once we hear some more of it.
All right.
Contract here too or not?
No, Judge, I don't believe so, but you should have a copy of the deed that Mr. May took the property back, and that deed was dated August 14th of 2024.
Where's that? Oh, it looks like it was a quitclaim deed.
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's go to the land contract first. So was that in writing? Was there a land contract? It had to be, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Do you have it?
No, Judge, I don't.
Is there, Mr. Let's do it this way then maybe. Mr. May, was there a land contract at one point between you and I guess your son, Brian?
There was, yes.
Okay. Did somebody draft the land contract for you?
I did.
Oh, you did it?
Yeah.
Do you have a copy of it someplace?
I don't. It's been 20 years. This was my son. It was something because we move all the time. I may be able to find it, but it would take a long time, to locate it.
Okay.
My son has lived there. He basically has never, this is a house that I wanted to furnish, hopefully my son has some alcohol and drug problems, but that was before then. I was trying to get him enthused or to get him, and to furnish him a place to live. He's basically never paid to live there. I've been paying the taxes, everything. We basically, my son today, we have to basically support him. So we never did anything on the land contract because it didn't really matter until it's come up. So furnishing a place for my son to live is one thing, but furnishing a place for Mr. Miller is totally something different.
Under the land contract, then was it ever recorded?
No.
Okay, so it was just agreement between you guys on paper.
Problem number one.
We did it on paper because I don't think there's any requirement that it has to be recorded.
What did you say?
We did do a memo. I did the deed transfer statement.
That I tell people, record your land contract, because if you say you can't find a document, it technically don't exist, right? So they come to court and it's like, we don't have a copy of the land contract, even though you have a deed in lieu and it may reference a land contract, but where's the land contract at? If it's not recorded, he can't find it, the attorney don't have it. So now that that makes everything shaky, right? So yeah, that was their biggest mistake right there. So
Yeah, because now it's like what land contract?
right.
But to the township at the time that we did the land contract, the
Do you know, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm just kind of thinking.
transfer affidavit at the time that we did the land contract, that was filed at the township, but we have a copy of that.
Okay, was there any provision in the land contract that said that Brian May not encumber that property until he actually owned it?
Yeah, it was standard language,
Yeah,
Judge, and yes, in fact, and that was in 2006 when that contract was done, and it was the standard language in the contract that, right, he had no rights over and above, and Mr. May, Jack May, and the trust had the right to mortgage the property or whatever, but Brian's interest was subject at all times to the prior ownership rights of the trust. And so, yes, there was a restriction in that regard, Judge.
Okay, is that true, Mr. May?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay.
That's
So back to you,
also,
Mr. Miller. What?
What'd you say?
So he asked him about encumbering the property, right? So if the son was buying it from the father on land contract, that doesn't restrict the son from leasing the property out to somebody else, right? In most standard land contracts, right? So if he's the owner, if he's buying it from his father on land contract, he could actually lease it out to this Mr. Miller guy. And I think they're confused because they don't have a copy of the land contract. That's why the judge asked for it.
Right, because then how we supposed to know what the agreement was if we can't see it?
Yep, record your paperwork. That's what I tell people all the time. Oh.
How did you enter into this lease agreement with Brian May?
Your Honor, I entered the lease with my landlord, Brian May, and I actually paid up rent in advance. I mean, I don't know what's going on here.
When was the last time you paid rent?
I paid up rent on 7/8/2024. I actually have a receipt too. I have kids in the community. That's why I took so much interest in the property.
How much did you pay on July 8th then?
Your Honor, I paid Brian May $144,000 in cash.
Dang.
But no cash?
Yes, I did. Cash, Your Honor.
And you've got no receipt?
Yes, I do have receipt.
Judge, Mr. Brian May was involved in drugs. Mr. Miller is charged with being a drug dealer. We suspect this is all just...
Yeah, what?
Your Honor, Your Honor, I never received the notice to quit.
Why would you pay 140? I got a question though. 144,000 when your rent monthly payment's only 1,000.
I paid rent up in advance because I have kids in the community, and I took interest in the property because I have kids in the community.
That doesn't make any sense. Why wouldn't you just continue to make a $1,000 monthly payment?
That's what me and the landlord put together.
So where's your receipt?
Oh, shit.
My landlord has a copy.
Hold the receipt up for me.
There you go. His signature is actually on here.
Have you ever seen this receipt?
No, Your Honor. I mean, it's kind of absurd. The whole thing, the 61-year lease, who's going to pay $144,000 in rent? I question whether Mr. Miller, how he had $144,000. He has an appointed attorney for all these criminal cases. This is just fairy tale stuff.
Okay, so I can't see the whole receipt though. It's the problem.
Here you go, Your Honor.
Slide it.
There are 101 ways that you could get clients for your agency, coaching, or consulting business.
So he paid $144,000 cash up front for rent to what they're saying is a drug addict and he's a drug dealer. So they're peeping the finesse, right? But the issue is they didn't record the land contract, which really shouldn't be a problem. But like what they're saying is it don't make sense for you to pay somebody $144,000 cash up front for rent.
Not rent, but on the land contract, I could see, and then you just pay down whatever the balance is. But
Exactly.
$144,000, baby, you could just went and bought you a house and owned it.
Yep. You don't see how it play out. my man crazy though.
And there, actually, yeah, hold it up vertical like that for me. Maybe that we can do it that way. Let's
Now,
just
hold on.
see.
Anybody could buy some receipts now.
That's why I laugh, because it's like,
Ciao.
Pull back a little bit. There you go. July 1st, 2026. 2026. Who's that for? I don't understand what that says from.
Why the 2020 to 2026? This confusing.
Just go downward with your. There you go, just like that. Taji Miller. Where's Brian Miller's May's signature at the top there?
I'm not for sure.
Not for sure.
You see it?
Well, kinda.
Look at all they had.
Why,
they tilted.
Why isn't his signature down below or anything? Why is it at the top of that thing?
I'm not for sure. That's where he signed it.
I got
he
you.
was high.
Where did the money come? Where did you pull the money out from? It's all cash.
Your Honor, I worked a lot of years. I actually been shot in my arm, so right now I'm waiting on disability. But up until 2023, I worked a lot of years. I saved up a lot of money.
And he was in prison.
And I still have some money saved. And to answer the attorney question, my lawyer is Michael Ewan, and there is no drug activity or illegal activities going on in this residence at all.
He need to back up because his forehead taking up the camera. Yeah, this don't sound right.
Let's see.
Judge, certainly Mr. Miller can sue Brian, May, if he thinks he's entitled to some money back. But I mean, that's just absurd. Brian May has no money. He's living in his dad's basement. He's homeless, basically, other than living with his dad. And really, this just defies any logical, rational beliefs.
Now, hold on. Devil's advocate. The son took that 144 and just bought him some of the best dope the city had to offer him, or tricked it off, or he
got paid in dope.
Yeah, or he's sitting on it.
Yeah. So.
Child.
61 years. I never heard anything like that in my life. Back garage included. So 61 years. So you were to pay. Where's my calculator here? 61 years.
Your Honor, I paid rent up in advance so I could focus on my kids in the community. I have 2 teenage boys that's in the community. They stay maybe 3 miles away.
Times 1,000. So the total you were going to pay over this whole thing was $732,000 for this place to rent.
Yes, Your Honor, I'm a felon, so it's hard for me to get housing in some places.
For $732,000, buddy.
If somebody come to me with 144 cash, baby, you can have this deed depending on where the house is and what the house is. Here you go. Just pay the taxes. Right. So
that's why it's not adding up. That's what they're saying. The issue, the issue, they're going too much into his history instead of sticking to the facts and what makes sense. Like you didn't pay. Where's the proof that you even had $144,000 a year?
Yeah, right? I had a job and I've been saving, but where was you working?
But you waiting on disability, and you went on a record in court saying you just gave somebody $144,000 cash, but you waiting on disability. Like those two don't add up, right?
Okay, this your wife, man, and she brought up a good point. I'm like, you keep saying the community. What are you doing in the community? I mean, when you just say I wanting to be closer to my kids, and that's that.
Right.
Is the
And-
community your employees or your place of business?
Right.
This is crazy. Hold on, let me start it back.
It's a lot of money to put out for a house like this. That doesn't make any sense.
What doesn't make any sense?
$732,000 in rent for 61 years. How much was? Let's see. You gave him 144,000. You said, right?
Oh my goodness.
Yes, sir.
144.
Judge, it's about a $250,000 house.
Well, I haven't looked into.
Hello, Mark.
Yeah, because I'm like at 144, like, baby, you could have bought you a nice little brick bungalow, 2-car garage in the city.
Yeah, but if whatever community, I think this was Macomb County. If the house worth 240, 250, he could have easily went and brought a house on land contract with 144,000 down.
Hell yeah, but it wouldn't have been no 61-year lease.
Nah.
Hell no.
That's crazy.
Took the opportunity because my kids live in the community and I wanted to be around for my kids. And I'm also a felon, so it's hard for me to get housing. That's why I took the opportunity.
Well, if you had that kind of money, you could find a lot of housing anywhere. I just went through a whole stack of ones anybody would allowed you to.
Exactly.
Well, for the property,
yeah,
for that,
I don't think that it's not making any sense to me. 144 months. So divide by 12. So how long were you for that money you gave him? How long were you planning on staying there? What was that worth?
The 144,000 was for what is that, 10 years or 10 or 11 years? It just gave me advance to concentrate more on my children that's in the community.
Well, no, you got to tell me how many years you planned on being there for that 144,000.
I plan on being here for the whole 61 years. But the 144,000 was just for 11 years or 12 years, Your Honor.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a one-time payment or anything. I still got payments.
Yeah.
The community.
Well, I think you're right. I think your actions against
the laundry basket
against the person that we were renting to, Brian May. Looks to me like the owner actually is the trust.
He said best we got was a laundry basket full of dollars for YB.
Did Brian May ever tell you there was a trust?
No, Brian May didn't tell me it was a trust, Your Honor.
No.
Had to eat on my pizza.
That's crazy.
Did he ever tell you that he was that he claimed it back to that trust at any time?
He never told me that, Your Honor. I also never got a notice to quit or anything.
Yeah, and it sounds like you had 12 years of rental property, didn't you? According to what
Yeah. I paid him 100, yes, in advance for sure.
So it looks like your actions against Brian, because he quit claimed it back over to the trust on August 14th. It looks like your action is going to be against Brian.
That is.
It looks like.
Well, we entered this agreement on July.
Yeah, it doesn't look. Everything you're telling me doesn't seem legitimate. It doesn't look legitimate. The terms of the lease don't make sense. Paying cash of $144,000 makes credibility another big issue. Why didn't you just get cashier's check or get something else. Why would you pay cash for something like that?
Your Honor, then again, I'm a felon. It's hard for me to get housing. And then plus,
Not the cashier's check, it's not.
that's just the way I went about it, Your Honor.
Yeah, boy,
Probably
boy,
ain't
you
know.
kind of made a big
Well,
mistake there, I
no,
think.
this the thing though.
Really.
Hold on.
If he went somewhere with over $10,000 in cash, they got to report it. So where was he gonna get $144,000 cashier check from?
You was gonna have to get 10, 15 of them.
He got to get a thousands of post office money orders or something. That his whole story not adding up, but it's just crazy how they just don't have their paperwork together. Because I think it's a part 2 to this where his attorney come on, and it get crazy. But we gonna watch that one day as well.
All right.
That's a big problem. Mr. Belzer, I'm sorry, I kind of took over for you. I'm kind of trying to figure out what was going on. Why? Give me your argument why it should rule in your favor, I guess. Go ahead and give it to me.
Because we own the property, and nothing that this Mr. Miller is saying makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And really, it's just beyond belief. A 61-year lease, all the terms of this lease are so goofy. No attorney in their right mind would ever go along with any of this stuff. And plus, Mr. Miller doesn't have, and I believe this is just some drug transaction.
So who's Kyle? That's his attorney?
Yeah, that's this attorney.
Oh, okay. I'm like, who Kyle? And he just came on here, so.
Where Mr. Brian May never had $144,000 in his life. Within a month after this, not even that, well, yeah, it's probably been 2 months after this transaction that he gave the deed back to his dad because he had no money, nowhere to live. And we own the property. We have no relationship with Mr. Miller. We ought to get an order to take possession of that property, Judge.
Your Honor, if I may, I'm going to ask Mr. Miller if the court will allow me, because I have at least advised Mr. Miller in this case. It's not a case I intended to represent, but if Mr. Miller will let me say something, I would like to try and. I have one concern in hearing this, and I don't disagree with Mr. Belzer that if the land contract prohibits Brian May from encumbering the property, then they are right that they are the owner and he can't do that. I would just note that no one has presented that land contract to show that. And I'm sitting here with the Cameron's Real Property book that says unless there's an explicit clause prohibiting encumbering the property, that a vendee on a land contract has an absolute interest in the property to encumber it. So I as just a candor to the court and having represented Mr. Miller, at least on advice on this matter, I can't just sit here and just let this go this way without them at least showing that there was a land contract that said he can't encumber it. I get that the terms can be crazy. Commercial buildings enter into leases for 50 and 100 years. I can't speak to why Mr. Miller would enter such a lease, but if they can show that Mr. May didn't have a reason or ability to encumber it through that land contract, then I think their position is absolutely correct. But absent proving that, I think Mr. May is at least a necessary party to testify to say.
Well, that was going to be my next, Mr. Lowry, thank you. And that was going to be my next question. Mr. Miller, do you have any witnesses or anything?
Yes.
Well, where was your witnesses at? Today.
They here. I can call them.
Who?
Sharika Lewis.
Who's that?
That was a girlfriend of mine.
Oh, I'm talking about somebody involved in the contract.
Judge, if I could,
the contract.
So what, he want proof that somebody else seen him give them that money, I guess?
Yeah, but see what I don't think what the owners realize is that this is why I like this attorney when he came on. That attorney came on is actually smarter than the judge in this situation, because like when he mentioned like the judge earlier was like, I've never seen nobody do a 61-year lease, right? They do it all the time in commercial real estate. Like people, they'll lease the land for 99 years and then build a structure on it, right? So for the judge to say, I've never seen a 61-year lease, you just start making it easier for like Mr. Miller's attorney to come in there and just start shooting darts and breaking apart the whole case because they don't have a land contract. So the judge can't even make a decision because the land contract is not there for him to review to say that the son didn't even have a right to lease the property out. And most land contracts don't restrict you from leasing that property out to somebody else. So
it sounds like he might win.
Crazy, ain't it?
Yeah, and that's all they fault or the son. Cause I see I do see the part 2 popped up over here. So we have to watch that next.
Contract is a legal document. You want me to call Lindsay Markle?
But the concern I got is pretty much what Mr. Lowry's is suggesting, though. If I go back in time here, there's an allegation that Brian May had a land contract, correct? I've got nothing that says anybody's got any land contract. Who is giving the land contract?
Judge, if I may. So first of all, you do have sworn testimony as to what the terms of that land contract were. Second of all, this defendant has no right to have free legal advice. If he can come up with $144,000 in cash, he should not be getting legal aid advice.
What?
That's not the case. That's not
the case. He gotta, even if he got free services, that's smart. Why would he use his own money? The point is, at least he had sense enough to get a damn attorney.
Right. And it's the thing. They're looking at everything. Now they're starting to get emotional, right? And they're like, okay, this don't make sense. They're attacking him instead of fighting the case.
Yep.
Right. They keep saying like, oh, he's a drug dealer, he's this, instead of fighting the case. The judge was kind of on their side at first because he was kind of downplaying old boy. But again, this is why I tell people, when it comes to real estate matters, just hire an attorney that actually knows real estate, because you see how quick this switched around.
Yeah, because it looked like he really about to win. And low key, if he win, I'll go back and sue them for defamation. Because how you gonna sit up here and say I'm a drug dealer with no proof?
Right.
Because if he win, that means they gotta wait till the 61 years is up, right?
Yeah. But then too, it's not really a bad thing because he got paid them $1,000 a month for 61 years, and they still get to own the property.
On top of the 144 he paid?
Yeah, because you got to think he signed a lease, not a land contract. The property never pays off.
Oh, that was retarded on his end. Because if I gave you 144, baby, that's half of what I owe.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if he gave 144 for 10 years, somebody got it. I need to have proof that $144,000 was given, right? But even then, I mean, shit, he gonna have the lease forever. I got $1,000 a month coming in for the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? So like,
but I can't even blame the son, because if he did take that 145, I would have moved back home too.
And got you some yays and a chunk with the Hemi.
And I would have got me a mink.
Yeah. The one you got drag on the floor.
Listen, dust them off.
I would object to that, Your Honor, just on the basis that Mr. Belzer doesn't know our priorities and our qualification criteria. So
it is amazing. They used to have a collagen. Used to have.
Yeah, this is crazy to the see. This is why we be screaming to y'all. Look, paperwork matters. I don't care what nobody say. That paperwork hold up in court probably over a video.
They could have, if that land contract was recorded, they could have went online during this case and downloaded a copy from the county records.
Yep.
In the story, the video would have been 15 minutes long at the most. That's only because the judge would have had to hear both sides. But unfortunately, they don't have it.
That's crazy. I'm telling you, that son took that 144 and back in the basement.
Yeah. In any event, really, he have sworn testimonies to the terms of the contract.
Here's my concern though. If it all hinges on what right Brian May had, period. Whether he owned the property, did not own the property, and it was my question that I asked about having some kind of encumbrance, some kind of paragraph that says you can't encumber the property if it's a land contract. Right now, I got nothing all the way around, period. I got nothing. So who owned the property before Brian May if that land contract is not there?
The trust that Jack May.
Well, actually, my corporation did initially, and then I assigned it from the corporation to myself.
Oh, okay.
But I bought the property in 2004, built the house, and then sold it to Brian specifically because it was a father to son and to provide him housing. You know, we've held title since 2004.
I'm sorry,
my corporation or my trust has had title to that property since 2004.
And then at 2004, what shows
in 2004 it was a vacant lot. I'm a home builder, so we built a house.
Oh, shoot.
We built the.
It's a brand new house.
Yeah, but see right there, he talking too much. Like this attorney for Mr. Miller, he just sitting there. He just listening. Like this is why you need good attorneys. He's sitting there. He's just waiting for them to keep exposing cracks, and he just gonna throw darts right in the cracks, right? Yeah. So that's all he waiting on. Like now you bring the corporation part wasn't even part of the conversation. Now you saying that's just more documents you got to prove. So it's like, why did that even come up? All you had to say was, I gave a land contract to my son. He didn't pay me back. We took the property back by deed in lieu, and that's it. When we got the property back by deed in lieu, he no longer had ownership rights, so he couldn't lease the property out. But instead of them saying that, they started attacking old boy. And then they went off into all this other stuff about who's on drugs and who's a drug dealer that has nothing to do with the case.
Let me read something. Damn drug dealers spending $144,000 in the community nowadays. In my days, best we got was laundry bags full of dollars from YBI. It was 144 in there. Him saying in the community sounds weird. That's what I want to know. I'm like, why he just can't say I wanted to move to be closer to my kids? End of discussion.
Right.
Community sound like, I don't know. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, at least he a good father though. He ain't out in Nova.
Nova.
When we sold the one house, the other one, it was to the point where I basically furnished someplace for my son to live.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I was hoping my son had bad alcohol problems. I thought he would get out of that. He was actually.
He talking too much.
Yeah, none of that has nothing to do with the case.
Nothing. And then if he got back alcohol problems, now it could look like, oh, he did get the money. He just went and bought the best thing he could find.
So now it look like you don't know who finessed who. Like, did Mr. Miller get finessed, or did Mr. Miller give his son some drugs and say, here, sign this receipt?
See? Looking suspicious.
You could live and work with him when he was an alcoholic. Around 2017, it went from alcohol to drugs. I don't know if Mr. Miller has anything to do with that or not, but he got into the drugs and all of a sudden, but I've been basically paying the taxes on it for years. It's basically been my property. It was something that I did for my son to live in. I don't think that my son signed that receipt to, he can,
Your Honor, Brian, I don't mean to interrupt. Brian May been paying the taxes on the home for years.
Hold on.
So look, Mr. Miller attorney been sitting over there writing notes and stuff. That's why he put his hand up like, hold on.
Yeah, like don't say
nothing. Looking it up.
Yeah, but he was trying to sell Mr. Miller like, hold on, don't say nothing, because the more old boy talked, the deeper the hole get, and it wasn't even a hole to begin with. Like the more he talked, it's just like, yeah, this should have again. We what almost 30 minutes in, it should have been over in 15 minutes. One document and shut up, but they
Yep.
won't do that.
Like I say, furnishing a house for my son to live in is one thing. Furnishing a house for Mr. Miller to live in is something else.
Yeah.
You know, I don't do rentals. Have never done any. Even if you look at that lease, if you look at the first page, I don't even think it was for 2085 or whatever it was. It looks like they changed the number from a 4 to an 8. My son does some really dumb stuff, but he would never even have done anything this crazy.
Well, I think there's just too many pieces for me to kind of speculate on right now, quite honestly, for everybody's sake.
I just want to ask, Your Honor, just if Mr. Belzer, so there was no writing done whatsoever in the terms of the land contract to Mr. May?
No. Yes, there was a written land contract.
Yeah, in 2006, there was a written land contract.
So all I would say is that land contract should be produced. I understand Mr. Belzer's position that there was testimony given to the land contract, but I would point to the best evidence rule. The best evidence of a land contract, if there's a written land contract, is the land contract. And that's again, we'll concede that if that says that Mr. May could not encumber the property with a mortgage or a lease or anything like that, then I think plaintiff prevails undoubtedly without question. I just think that the lease should be or the land contract should be produced.
Right. I agree. And I think honestly, and that's kind of why I'm kind of going around and around on this thing. It's just too much speculation for me just to kind of say, okay, you got this, when it all encompasses either a land contract or no land contract. I think we're going to adjourn it one way or the other, give both sides a chance to produce whatever evidence they got. All the way back, even in case there's a decision and just the register of deed action, wherever the original title on the property is, we can kind of have a chain of title somewhere. And then this land contract, if you've got any kind of proof of that land contract, whatever it is.
Okay.
I think we can need some time to look at that. And same thing with you, Mr. Miller.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then somebody, quite frankly, is Brian May, is there some reason he's not here today?
Well, I could have had him here today. I didn't see the need.
But yeah, we'll have him here for the next time, Judge.
Okay.
And then again, Your Honor, I never received a notice to quit. I believe that's.
Well, let's not get too far ahead of things. First, you're claiming this rental agreement sitting here, and you're claiming that you made $144,000 in cash towards it.
Your Honor, I will bring the receipt down to you.
Well, yeah, do that for me, anyways. At least make it, and keep a copy for you as.
Yeah, because if they contesting the signature, that's easy. They can get one of them handwriting forgery people in there and tell the son to bring his driver license. All they're gonna do is compare, or hey, want something right now.
Yeah, but even if they did, even if the issue, if he gave him 144,000 cash, he got to prove he actually gave him that money, and he got to prove that there's a paper trail for the money, right? So if that receipt is fake and he's trying to prove his case, he got to prove the paper trail. Like, where did you pull this money from? But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they had it easy. It's just they don't have that land contract, and that made it hard. And his attorney know that, and he's just basically buying time so he can figure out some more holes in their case.
No, it's almost over.
As well, but Mr. Belzer's going to want a copy of that too. Okay.
Right. And Judge, I'd also like to get, and I can send some requests to Mr. Miller, where this $144,000 was at. I mean, I'm going to hear that it was in a shoebox in his bedroom someplace, but.
Your Honor, that's another story for another day.
Your Honor, I would just point out for Mr. Miller's position, I don't know that there's any relevance to where that money comes from, whether he got it from winning the lottery or he got
Well,
it
yeah,
from
I-
collecting pennies in a
casino.
jar, or I don't know that the relevance of where he came up with the funds to pay it is frankly relevant at all.
Right? It's
The only
discrimination.
reason,
What's going on?
hold on, guys, hold on. And Mr. Lowry is correct, other than if it goes to any kind of credibility, I'll have to rule on it later on. Yeah, honestly.
And I'm not taking a position here nor there about what the validity of the receipt or if the money. I just don't think where the money came from. Whether if there's money and he.
I mean, the attorney, right? Because that really ain't got nothing to do with this. The issue
Yeah.
at hand is, did he pay money? Yes or no? Okay, where's the land contract? In the story.
Well, the thing is, he's saying it, but he also is saying, so it's two sides to it, right? Where the money came from doesn't matter, but did you even have the money to give does matter, right? So if you say, okay, I got the money from the lottery or I got the money from hustling, right? You still had the money to give. So where's the paper trail of that money at? But then if there's no paper trail, that's where the receipt really come into play. Like if Brian walks in that court and say, yeah, he gave me the money, all of this is over with. It's done. Dad just got to sit there and have a 61-year lease, right?
Well, I don't know if Dad gonna make it them 61.
That's the whole point. It's gonna be Brian's house anyway. And then Mr. Miller's could sound like Brian gonna smoke it all up.
Drink it.
Yeah.
Claims that he has paid the money. I don't think
But
it
he
matters
said he
where
was
that
an
money came
alcoholic.
from, whether he was working at 7-Eleven or doing what.
It may go to credibility, it may not. I'm not going to make any just speculating decisions on any of it. So,
Yeah, I'm invested now.
Yeah. And because it started out, it just seemed so cut and dry. But again, and then they're attacking him and not sticking to the facts. Like this, it don't make sense. But even though it don't make sense, that don't mean it didn't happen, right? So if they would have just
go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, if they would have just stuck to the facts and probably just brought Brian in there and say, no, he never gave me this, then it would have been easy.
But then the son could have been lying, and what if he really did give it to him?
Exactly. It's something changed hands for him to be in that house, right? It was a two-way finesse somehow, but unfortunately, it cost the dad.
But that means now a lot of type of tests will gonna nip that in the bud too.
Yeah, that's true. But we wouldn't even be this far if they had a recorded to land contract. See, he was thinking, oh, I'm just selling it to my son. I don't need to record it. No, this is proof why you need to record. If it's a recordable document, record it because your son gonna mess up.
Yeah. We got 2 minutes.
why don't we open up discovery, allow discovery for a period of time? How much time do we need for anything at all? I mean, it should be short anyways. I mean, if there's nothing, we got
2
nothing.
weeks. Judge, I'm leaving the 26th and will not be back until October the 5th. So if we're going to pick a date, I can't be here for those dates.
Okay.
Yeah, Your Honor, I'm ready to proceed. I don't know what's going on. All I know is
Mr. Miller, it's to your best interest if we adjourn it for a bit.
Just be quiet.
Because if I make a decision today, I'm speculating on a whole lot of stuff, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, his attorney like, hey, be quiet, because he actually looking out for you.
Yeah.
So let's adjourn to. I'm sorry. If we do, I'm sorry, Mr. Belzer. When are you gone again?
The 26th of this month until October the 5th.
So what we got beyond those?
I wonder why his attorney got off.
We can either do next week, or we can do it.
This Wi-Fi messed up.
October 8th is when after you get back.
Next week will be fine.
Okay. Okay, so we'll set it on for next week, September 24th. And let's just set a different time because I'm sure this is going to be like, yeah, let's do 11 o'clock.
And Your Honor, at this time, we have not entered an appearance because we were not going to represent, but I am going to take this back to see if we can, in fact, enter a full appearance beyond advice. So if I do, I will make sure I get an appearance to the court and to Mr. Belzer.
Okay, cool. That's perfect. So we'll just leave that open, and I will hopefully, quite frankly, it'd be helpful if we did have, but we'll just leave it at that. I'm going to leave my notes here, and we'll see everybody next week.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor. You have a good day.
You too. You too, guys. Bye. Bye.
Yeah, this is actually, I'm invested.
When he pulled out that receipt for $144,000, I died. Like the first time I see it, I was like, what?
But if I gave somebody that kind of bread, I'm recording. I got my phone out, like, what's your name? How much am I giving you right now? Because that video would have ended this too.
Yeah, I ain't giving nobody $144,000 straight up cash on any real estate transaction and don't have my documents right.
Now I wonder, did he give it to him like in a duffel bag or like Ziploc bags or a brown bag?
I actually was in court one time. My attorney said that this guy claimed he gave one of my agents $40,000.
Yeah.
And, he was like, how did you give it to her? Then he had to prove where he had the money from, paper trail and all of that. And we had to give him back his $500 EMD at the end of the day. But they was doing something because she wrote him a bounce check for like $18,000 or something. And it bounced, but it was from her personal account. So I think they had some stuff going on the side.
Probably.
So, but yeah, we was in Oakland County too, and my attorney never mentioned anything about what he was gonna say. And when old boy was up there, then the judge asked the guy, he was like, so did you claim any of this as a loss on your taxes? And the guy was like, no. And then the judge was like, so wait a minute, you didn't claim none of this as a loss with the IRS, but you expect the courts to believe you lost $40,000? And it just went downhill from there. But it was like, I tell people, those paper trails and paperwork, that's what hold up in court. You can say what your intentions was, or I'll try to take care of my son. None of that matters. If you don't have the paperwork and a paper trail, then you can kind of get off into some of the other stuff. But yep.
Yeah, this was pretty good. So I guess when we come back, I already saved part 2 because it had popped up on the side. Somebody said landlords have it hard. Why be out of good old days?
He said they just show up with a laundry basket full of money.
That's funny.
That's funny. Yeah.
The son, oh, she said your wife said the son do come. He hiding in the corner of the screen, just useless.
Oh sure, yeah, we're gonna have to see that one next time.
That's crazy. You got any events or anything coming up?
No, nothing coming up anytime soon. But when we do, I'll make sure I post it.
All right, yeah, and send it to me and I'll post it. I think I'm gonna bring Detroit Real Estate Weekend back. I think I'm gonna do like pre-sales because I'm about to up the prices and stuff. So once the weather break, probably around April, I'll start pricing like everything. And
I do want everybody to check out. I just did a video. It's called 5 Reasons Why Not to Invest in Detroit.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube channel. Just go on YouTube and type in Reginald Perryman. But I'm doing a whole series where I'm just giving a little 3 to 5 minutes, nothing long, just giving advice just based on, because people do some dumb shit, right? Like, and I'll just be like, why? Like, that don't make sense. Like, you bought a property 8 years ago for $5,000 and didn't do nothing to it, and people expect the value to just fall from the sky. Oh, I want 150 for it. Like, what did you do? Right. So, but then it's a lot of other reasons. I talk about property taxes and all the other issues, because I mean, you got to know what you're doing in Detroit. To be honest, I make a lot of money in Detroit, but if you don't know what you're doing, it's gonna swallow you up.
Listen, I be trying to tell folks, they be like, "Oh, Detroit so cheap." Like this lady texted me the other day, and she's like, I got pre-approved for $100,000. What can you do?" So she sent the pictures. I'm like, nothing.
Yeah,
That $200,000 rehabs is gone. Now we used to be able to do full gut rehabs for 100 grand. That was probably in 2012 to 2015.
right.
Them
I
days.
tell I tell people there is no such thing as a $5,000 house, and they be like, "Well, I see it on the land bank." I say, "Yeah, the purchase price is 5,000, but when you're done with that house, it's not a $5,000 house. Your investment the same. If you buy a $5,000 house and put 80 into it, you spent 85,000. Sometimes you'd be better off just buying an $85,000 house, right? But
Exactly.
I don't know. I keep telling people the market can teach you better than I can. And
Some people just gotta learn. Like this is somebody else. People be DMing me so much stuff. Like I just don't respond. Like one lady got mad at me because I wouldn't answer her whole 16 paragraph question, and I just sent that nice consultation link. I'm like, lady, if I sit here and answer all these questions and every 100 others I get a day, I won't get nothing done.
right. Yeah.
Like, come on.
But that's why I started doing the videos, because then I would get those questions too. A lot of out of state investors and people here, and then it's people doing some crazy, and you crash and burn. You lose your money on the first deal. It's hard to recover for most people.
Yeah, and then you got some people who come here and think they can do what they do in their city. Detroit, look, we different. And I ain't saying that just because I'm from here on no nothing like that. We different. Like
Yeah.
you gotta deal with this cold weather, so you gotta know how to rehab in the winter. Your best bet is just secure the house, winterize it, and wait till the spring.
Yeah.
If you
And
ain't
there's other cities that got similar issues and risks, but it's just that when people come here because of our values, they think that because the property is so cheap, like it eliminates some of the risks when it really doesn't.
right.
Right. So I mean, it's a lot of it's just common sense, but most people getting in the business, they get emotional and they're thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna revitalize the city with my $10,000," and
With
it's
your
not
with your one house.
right. And I tell people, like, if you could just buy a land bank house for 5 or 10,000 and put 20,000 into it, and now it's worth 200,000. I mean, we got money here too. Don't you think we would stop buying yays and buy all the land bank properties? Like, I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I'll keep putting out the content and
I
just
don't
make.
argue with people no more. You know, I used to be all like, look, y'all, listen, I don't care no more. Cause this is what's gonna happen. When that greenway is done, y'all gonna be begging for $1,000 to $1,500 rent. Y'all gonna be
Right.
begging for it. It's because it's happening, it's coming. This whole tragedy with Southwest Detroit and that flood, that's about to change the game. Them values over there about to go. Southwest already been booming with gentrification and stuff like that.
Yep.
That I honestly believe that disaster is a blessing to them homeowners because most of them houses is old. Most of them need to be updated anyway. They about to get all them houses gonna have to get gutted.
Yeah.
They gonna
Yep.
have to rehab the whole house. They about to put them in the hotel for at least 6 months. Y'all about to be living it up. They gonna have to pay them whatever they lost for work. They about to get all new stuff. And the contract already out right now for the emergency clean out.
When I seen those cars frozen in the street,
It
I
was
was
over.
just like, it's just something different.
This
Like, I've
different.
seen floods before, but I ain't never seen cars. It flooded and then it froze, and the street is frozen. Like you can't go. Some people couldn't even get out their house. They had to climb out the window to come down. So yeah, it's crazy.
But honestly, low key, from a contractor standpoint, it's best that that happen in the winter and not the summer.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because if it was been in the summer, that water at some point the water once it came into the basement and started coming up the stairs, it stopped because it froze. Now
right.
had that not happened, oh that water would have been all up and through them house to each level, and it would have been at that point they probably would have had to condemn the
They
house
had to condemn all them properties.
and
Yep.
then build them new or drop new prefabs.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, it was a blessing that it was in the winter because in the summer Now you got the heat added to it, so it's gonna stink. It's gonna
Yeah.
mold up faster.
Mold.
Like with it being cold, eventually it's gonna freeze and then just stop. But now they got to all the people about to get new cars, because it don't matter if you got insurance. Because as soon as it happened, the city took accountability, and the Great Lake Water Authority, they took accountability. And they already said we gonna cover everything. Don't worry about, because they know they could get sued for that.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
a
that's
hell of a class
crazy.
action lawsuit if they didn't. But they already said we gonna take care of it. They done put everybody in hotel rooms. I saw on the news that some people they doing shifts, like some people still staying at the houses that can be stayed in, because you know how our cousins be. They gonna look at it as a golden opportunity. What you gonna break in and take, baby? Everything froze.
Right.
Cause they ain't got no heat. Most of they
How
said
you
I
gonna
forgot how many houses they
you
said ain't
gonna
got
get
no heat.
away?
What you gonna steal? The furnace is done. So if you get to the furnace, you can't use it.
Somebody with a flat screen TV on their shoulder wearing ice skates.
I seen one guy, his backyard froze solid. He back there ice skating.
That's crazy.
I ain't mad. Make something good out of this mess. I
Yep.
mean, I'm sorry it happened, because that got to be a scary feel. Because they said it had started like at 3 a.m. and by daylight, it looked like how the street looked with everything froze, like some Legos.
That's crazy.
I'm like,
Yep.
well, I'm glad nobody got hurt. So that's what's the most important.
Yeah, that's what I was thankful for. Like they didn't report any like deaths or anything like that. Because
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
once
for
it get
elders.
cold, you got to think too. People's freezing out there, and
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting no heat if your basement frozen.
Yeah,
Everything's shutting down.
because I forgot how many houses they said is without power, and then some do got power, but just ain't got no heat. So, but I'm glad. Look, I'm proud of Detroit, because you could tell that our services have gotten a lot better over the years. Because they own just like the third day, and they already done fixing it, the pipe or whatever, and they done cleaned the street out. So they probably now about to start assessing the houses and stuff. Because I'm gonna see what's on the bid list. Like I go in there and be an inspector and get paid. Give me
Right.
give me a quick 150.
I just sold a house over there on what was it, on Elmer, about 2 months ago. The neighbors had brought it from my seller. She didn't even want to put it on the market, but that house was raggedy. But they brought it. They was investing. So I'm curious to see what happened with that property.
Mm-hmm. I'm like, this gonna be an interesting next six to shit. That's gonna be damn near a year.
Yeah, it's gonna be more than a year because you gotta think about relocating the people, getting their structures back solid, and then moving. Yeah, it's gonna be at least a year for most of them people.
Yeah, because they got the bid out right now just for the emergency repairs. Then once that's done, then they got to go in and do the assessments, and then you got to get the contractors that can handle that type of stuff. Because that's restoration work, that's mold remedial. I
Yeah.
If it was me, I condemn every last one of them houses and drop a new prefab on it, because that's gonna be faster and it's gonna cost you less money.
Yeah.
That's what I do. I just go and drop nice 2-story colonial prefab on there, right on top. I wouldn't, and I fill the hole in, no basement. Just put it on the crawl space and call it a day. That won't take as long, because it's a prefab spot in Troy I found that I need to go look at.
Yeah, people gonna complain though that they want the same house that they want, and a lot of people they gonna want to go back in and get their stove.
I mean, yeah, go get what you can, but man, if it was me, I'm gonna get my sentimental stuff like family photos, stuff that can't be. The rest of that shit, bro, cut me 200,000. I go buy all new furniture, all new clothes. Go give me a
People
nice.
don't even have photo books no more. Everything online.
Oh, we still see my family old school. We still got all that stuff.
Yeah, I got a bunch of photos. Some
Yeah, I
I
got
got.
photo books and stuff. Like my aunt, she got stuff from my family from like the late 1800s pictures.
Oh
Like my family make sure that get passed down. So I already told my folks, like when my auntie come, I want all them pictures.
Yeah, you can put them in a museum somewhere.
Listen, be paid.
Yep.
Like my aunt, she got I didn't know back in the day, like when you paid your Michigan Con bill or
Yeah,
whatever.
Michigan.
Yeah, Michigan
Yeah.
bill. It was like little tickets you get for the gas. It was like little yellow tickets. I got a picture of it on my phone. I'm gonna post it.
Yeah, you should post that.
I was like, damn, this kind of dope.
Michigan, man. I remember I was struggling a couple of years, and because Michigan and Detroit Edison was separate, so your gas and your light bill was separate. right? That saved my life because I pay a little bit on that gas bill just to keep it on.
Yeah.
And then if I couldn't, I knew my electricity was on, so I can have them space heaters going. Yeah, but yep. But when they merged, boy, I had to get my shit together. Like, you got to start making some money, Reg, because it's changing out here.
So I got rid of my Comcast internet. I love Comcast internet. It's the best out here. But they was charging me $130 a month, bro. And then when I was like, I'm gonna cancel, then they like, oh, we can do 85. Now why I had to do that? But I still canceled that because Verizon got a 5G box now. That boy on point. That boy better than T-Mobile, and it's $65.
Yeah.
So I just got
gotta
that
save
now.
money where you can.
Look, I'm focusing on retirement. Like I'm 42 now. Like I want to be retired between 50 and 55. So now I'm like, okay, start cutting where I can. So we're gonna see how this Verizon hold up. But so far it's been doing good. I had it like about 6 weeks. All the cameras still work. So far so good.
I'm letting go of everything. All we gonna do is golf.
Like I ain't got cable no more. I got rid of Netflix. Now I got
I
rid of
don't
my
have
Netflix.
cable.
Huh?
We don't have cable.
Me neither. I got rid of
rid
cable like 21, I think.
We got rid of cable a long time ago.
Yeah, I just got my Fire Stick, and I canceled Netflix after that Tyson BS. I was so pissed. I canceled my Netflix.
Yeah.
With that mess. Oh, hold on. We got a couple comments. Then we can blow this popsicle stand. That Southwest flood. Yeah, ICE already done been out there. I seen that. They already been arresting folks.
Oh yeah. They was arrested before that. So now you know, like some of them people gonna be scared to call FEMA. Like it's gonna, some conspiracy theories too about why that happened out there.
Oh yeah, the push them out.
Yeah, because you got to think like, okay, out of all the places in Detroit that could have happened, it happened in that area, right? So the internet conspiracy theorists went crazy on that.
But they said that pipe was 54 inches. So you talking about a 5 foot, basically pipe did all that. That's crazy.
Yep. So.
And I'm like, it got to be a way y'all can like put a camera down there like you can do in somebody's house drain and see what's going on to kind of try to prevent this. But at the same time, the city is old as hell. I don't know what we still do now, but when I worked on the highway, it was still wood pipes under there.
Yeah. A lot of the infrastructure just
frozen copper pipes. Well, on the inside of people's house, yeah.
No, she's saying they're gonna be stealing them copper pipes.
They got to get to them first and walk through all that mess. You're gonna have hypothermia before you get in that basement. Like, come on.
Not if you old man's son, what's his name? Brian on the video we just watched. If you on that stuff, you don't feel nothing cold.
Them toes still curling.
Back in the day, you can hire a fiend to do anything in any type of weather. They'd be like, yeah, I climb up there. Like, it's something blocking our chimney. Mike, it's something blocking our chimney there. He'd climb up there, the heartbeat.
All right, so I'm not leaving because they are here illegally and they don't want to get facts.
No.
I found out Detroit Edison used to replace the light bulbs when we bought the old ones in. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. My U versus 350 now. That's crazy. I would have been there.
That's why I get it. So that's about 3 rounds at TPC for me. TPC for me. Like you could throw out a figure. I could tell you how many rounds of golf I could play at wet courses. Right? That's what I'm saying.
So he said, so hold on, we about to see. I break down. I'm a numbers person. So 350 a month times 12. That's $4,200 a year that you are spending on cable and internet.
That's more than what some people netting on their rental properties. You could just turn off Uverse and be richer than most landlords.
$4,200 a year. You still gotta turn your power. You gotta have power to even watch it. So that's a bill. You gotta pay your mortgage or your rent, or if you ain't got that, so that's something you ain't gotta pay. You still gotta pay the taxes and insurance. Man, please, that's how I start cutting back on stuff. I'm like eating out every day, $30 a day times 7. That's $210. I could just go and pay for bills.
Oh, wait, hold up. Wait, I got golf, and then we got Chick-fil-A. So we gotta have Chick-fil-A, and then when we
I
go
don't eat
south,
chicken.
we got Waffle House. I mean, we got our bougie restaurants, but I can't. We not cutting out
Waffle
Chick-fil-A.
House sent me a coupon for my birthday. I'm tempted to go drive down to Toledo and get my free waffle.
Yeah, so I don't know. Some stuff you just can't cut out. Like you can't cut off golf, Chick-fil-A, and traveling.
But
That's
are
all.
you signed up for everybody's stuff for your free? Because on my birthday, I had a good free time.
See, I gotta get with you on that. I don't think I got PGA Superstore gave me a discount and Ace Hardware, but I don't nobody go to Ace.
Look, I went to Benihana free, but with Benihana, they got smart. You got to go with somebody and be on their bill and your meal free. That's fine. I was like, hey, y'all hungry? Who want to go to
Oh yeah,
Benihana?
that's cool. That's just like me paying half off for me and my wife then.
There you go. But I got a whole list. I'm gonna do a whole separate YouTube video on how I ate free damn near the whole month of January. Buddy's Pizza, you get a free 4 square with cheese. You just gotta pay for the toppings. That's cool.
Oh, see, I gotta get the birthday hookup.
I got you. Beyond Juicery, you get a free smoothie. I got that. Yes, Monday.
Oh,
You
that
got
ain't free. It's for the whole month, right?
Yeah, for them. So some be you gotta only can go on your birthday. Some be the whole birthday month. Some be from your birthday to the next month. Jersey Mike's, you get a free sub and a drink. That's good for a year.
Okay.
So I
Yeah,
use
send me
that.
that list. I can just eat free for the rest of this month.
And then if you smart like me, I got a lot of emails, so I got a lot of birthdays.
Oh, all right. I don't know about that sounds too much like another job.
No, it ain't. I got exes who I still be eating on their birthday coupon because they was using my email. I'm like, thanks for this sample,
Oh,
bro.
okay.
No,
That's good.
what was I ate free? Oh, the casino the day of. I got $10 in free play at MGM, so I want to use that. And I won me $11.44. I'm like, I'm up. I'm getting up.
Oh yeah.
Let me see who else I can think of. Red Robin, you get free meal. PF Chains, I think you just get like a free appetizer. That's cool.
That's cool too.
I gotta look through my phone. I just seen the
Yeah,
screenshot. I got a whole note.
shoot me the list. We got a few more days left. We got about nine more days, 10 more days. If I can get a free meal each day, I'm good.
So when your birthday is this month though, right?
Yeah, it was February 4th.
So you have to change it because your birthday already passed. So it's gonna have to be February 24th.
Yeah. We don't don't say it online. Okay.
Oh, Shake Shack the day of, I got something free. I had got like a free milkshake and a sandwich. Went on, got that. Well, I tell you, I ate good. That's all I did my whole birthday. I just drove around, got all my free stuff.
That's crazy.
That's cool. But all right, y'all. Thanks for tuning. Oh, we got a couple more questions. I'll answer these real quick. Then we can go. Here we go.
Alien side chick.
And that's only cable. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's a good golf season. She talking about that 350 a month. Yeah, so like in my golf league, the first half of the season is only like 380. You know what I'm saying? So that's what she said. If you paying 350, yeah, man.
That's a lot. He said 350 plus another one. Man, please, I would have been got rid of them.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here go one. In your opinion, is it worth it to fully gut plaster wall and replace with drywall? I gut all my houses. The only ones I try to keep are the ones who got that beautiful crown molding in the
yeah.
What's that in the ceilings they be having? The beams and stuff. Like I try to keep that.
Yeah, it depends on the house too, because like it really depends on the house. Like if it's one of the historic homes or something like that, sometimes you don't want to gut everything.
Yeah, but or if I can gut it from like one house I put a bid on the dining room, I didn't want to gut, but the rooms behind I was like, all right, cool. As long as I can pull that knob and tool from behind it, we'll leave this room intact and then take out the rest. Because some of that stuff you can't recreate that, man. That junk too
right.
All right, hold on. One more. Any recommendations for property managers? Nope, I ain't got none. I don't recommend nobody.
I got one. They got eight of my different clients that they're managing, but they're fairly new. So give me about a month or so to see how they do. But they got decent reviews and everything. And my agent on my team that does most of our investors, he's got several clients with them as well. They not cheap. I mean, they 10%, but they don't give like you know how some people they like if I give you 10 properties, I want a discount. No, their services are good and what I like about them, their accounting methods are good. So like if I want to sell my house and I need, you know, rental history, rent rolls and all of that, they got it together. Any of my clients that needed documents for their accountant or their CPA, they had that all in place. So yeah, but they're fairly new. We've been working with them for probably about 6 months total. But always, I have to vet people for at least a year or more before I start really referring them out. Or
Right.
unless I knew somebody else that had a longer history with them. Because some people start out good and you start giving them a lot of business and then they crash and burn or something, or they just I don't know what it is, but we'll see what happens.
All right, last question. Do you think Pontiac is a good city to invest in? I got two clients that have been investing in Pontiac heavy. My first investor, TJ, all he had was Pontiac, and he bought most of his when the market first kind of crashed, and he bought them at the all. He had bought 50 houses at the auction. I think 35 was out there and 15 was in Detroit.
I bought a house 2 years. No, it's that this 25. So in 2023, I bought a house in Pontiac. Me and one of my agents paid 25,000 for it. We went in there. We was cleaning it out, and then we went over and cut the grass. We had the guy go clean it out. Then we went and cut the grass, and somebody approached us and paid us 55,000 for it in less than 2 weeks. So a lot of that West Bloomfield area spilling over to Pontiac. So Pontiac is a good area. I'll just say that.
That's good then.
Yeah, but the numbers still got to make sense. I'm not just saying just buy anything and hope it turns overnight. The numbers still got to make sense. And there's some pockets in Pontiac that do better than others.
Mm-hmm. Is Home Depot approved contract or are Home Depot approved contracts cool? I guess.
Yeah,
I
Marcus is one.
Huh?
You ain't seen a clip where I got Marcus saying bitches me? So,
no, Mr. Fix It.
Yeah, so he when he was on our podcast, he was explaining that so he went met with a lady and gave her a quote, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she was like, "No, I'll get back to you." So she called Home Depot, and you know he's one of their subcontractors. So he came back out. They sent him out to the same property, and he showed up like, "Bitch, it's me." Like, you know.
I love him. He is so funny.
And it was funny because the quote based on their scope of work and the cost, the quote they had was more than what he had originally quoted her, right?
Yeah,
so I mean
they got to get their fee because they the GC.
Yeah, so they do vet their contractors, but can you go wrong? Probably so with some of them, but they do try to hold their people up to a certain standard. So you're probably going to get more accountability, in other words, because that's the only thing I can say.
Yep. All right, then. I ain't got nothing else. You?
No, I'm all set.
Me too. I'm about to go home and finish my pizza and watch something on Tubi.
All right. We'll see y'all next week? We're gonna do this again next week.
We can. I'm going to see my folks Thursday. So if we do, just let me know what day.
All right. Let's coordinate the dates and we'll post them in advance for your audience. So we have it already set up.
Sounds like a plan. Well, thanks for coming on, Reg. I appreciate you as always.
Oh, anytime.
All right. Deuces.
All right. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.
And